Let's go, baby! Bomb arrows to the rescue. Ah! Ah! No! Oh, that assist, baby! No! Don't touch him. No! You... What did I do? That's an accident. Freaking Vito. I got the triple collapse! Oh! Ah! Oh, Dinell, go to the fire thing. It teleports us.
I want my money back.
I trusted you! Trombone. This one is trombone. Yo, I got it! Yes! Let's go! Yeah! 24 hours done. 24 hours finished. Oh, time to beat. 23 hours, 28 minutes. Oh my god! We did it! We did it! Oh my god! I couldn't have done it without you guys.
What the fuck up? Holy shit!
Wait, it went through? I gave him 50 bucks. What does my face look like that? Okay. What's up? I need to shave. We're gonna... Why's my lights going off? We're gonna play some PokeMMO. I just heard that one yesterday, Mac. I'll be right back. Just change the light. A little more... A little brighter. We need a Jump King replay so we can see if we get a better time. Of course I would get a better time. It took me like 20 hours. My nuts. Nice. We need... E-girls or I-ladies? E-girls. Okay, e-girls. Add low. What's up, Janelle? Bro, how much... When did you go to... When did you wake up today? Huh? Thank you, doctor. But I thought... I'm so confused. Did that not come up yesterday? I'm so confused. Thank you. That was weird. Why did the alert go off twice?
Hello there.
It just didn't give me the streak notification time. Ah, gotcha. Oh, I was so confused. You woke up at 3? Shit! I woke up like at 1. You want to find more members for our fake Pokemon cult? Hell yeah, baby!
Hello there.
That sounds good. Oh, Jadept. What's up, Jadept Jamari? Yeah. You just had one. I don't... Might change my name to Max to make it easier. Yeah, could do that. Call me Jimmy Juro. Oh, are you on that now too? What's up, Judo? Call me George Evel. What's up, George? Why doesn't this work? Error selecting server ID. Nice. 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 How you doing, Churro? Has Triple G streamed recently? Bars. And that was bars. There we go. Came Mr. Jimmy Frog. I am so confusion. How you guys doing? We're gonna do PokeMMO. We are not doing watching videos because I thought about it and I'm like, no. You guys send such a variety of videos and I'm just like, and it feels like such lazy content that I'm just like, nah, I don't want to do that. Not that this is such stimulating and intense content, but the Jays are spending Lyme a disease. You guys are literally making me lose brain cells. I don't know what that means. They're spending Lyme disease? What does that even mean? They're getting Lyme disease? Oh, why am I trying to run away? I don't understand. They're spending like a disease. They're spreading. Bro. That was such a good timed bro. There, yeah. I was like, what? Let me put. I'll put song requests on so you guys could put on music. If you want. Let me know if music's too loud, not loud enough, all this stuff.
Imagine having a J name.
Couldn't be me. My name's Jelliot. Jing Jong Jest. Yeah, I don't love kids. I do love kids, actually. Kids are great, but not in that way, bro. Imagine having a J. Look at my facial reaction to that. I hate my phone. Why? These new Twitch ads, garbage. What ads did you get? What ads did you Jime Disease Jujin Jime Disease, you mean? Not gonna lie, I need to grind. Yeah, that's Pokemon sometimes. I would hate to have a J name. Oh. How you guys doing? I stayed up last night till like, I don't even know, bro. Till like 8 a.m. I went to sleep at 8 a.m. Oh. No double battle? Why are half my Pokemon dead? Hey, what's up, Jimmy? Did you change your name color to purple? What's up? Thanks for the hydrate. Churo, what ads you got? You're sub to like 3 other people and you have a hype train. I don't know what you want me to do with that information. Okay. I did not. I think it changed on its own. Huh? Could it do that? Yes. Jimmy is green for me. I hate that it's never the same forever. Yo, thanks so much for the bit. I appreciate it. Thank you. Anyway. Yeah. I woke up at 9 a.m. It was such a weird day. I was working on a YouTube video. Well, that's not what I was doing last night, but today I was working on a YouTube video. Yo, thanks so much for the bet. Oh, you changed it to orange? I think it's different on different platforms for some reason. I see lime green as well. Maybe because I popped out the chat, so this is what I see. This is what I look at, all right? Thanks for the bet. I'm going to say it in that voice every single time. We're going to put that to the front. This is what I see. Thanks for the bit. Should I make required bits? 10 bits? So I could be saying thanks to the bit for you know, more bits. Thanks for the bit. Where do I go? Oh, to save a magic card. Anyway, how are you guys doing? All right, I'm going to stop saying thank you. Actually, no. Thank you for the bit. You love this? Bro, one more bit, you get timed out. I have, because it's like annoying. I have one more rule. I have new rules now. All right? Trying to become more strict. Because you guys are too much sometimes. The rule is 3 strikes, you're out. If you're annoying, and I warn you guys, you get 1 timeout. Second timeout is another, and then third time is a ban. So I just want to let you guys know that. Thanks for the bits. Ugh. But how are you guys doing? My goal for today is to get at least 2nd and 3rd gym in this game. And then hopefully and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday we'll do like hardcore Nuzlocke. How many chances I have? If you're asking that, that's a bad sign, bro. you get 100 bits, Kakashi cosplay. If I get 1,000,000 bits, no Kakashi cosplay. Even that, I don't know. Kakashi cosplay. I'd have to buy a mask. I mean, I have a mask, I guess, but I'd have to buy like all this stuff. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Oh, how many timeouts do you have? Bro, you got 6 timeouts. I should ban you soon. I'm telling you guys, I want to get more strict. Not that I'm gonna ban you soon, but bro, you got 6. Jesus. Yeah, you got 6. I gotta train Pidgey. Pidgey sucks butt now. Bro, finding a job is annoying. Only wear mask and headband? Bro, I could just put the snap filter on then. Why would I go all the way? How much do I have? I thought it was so hot that I didn't have the AC on, but it's on. You have 0. Oh, you have 0 Mac. He puts the angel thing. But yeah, I wonder is there a way to see how many people actually like are on the server at any given time? Also, why does it look dark? It didn't look dark last night.
Hello there.
Oh, that's what she said. Yo, what's up, Chris? You're the golden child. Hey, thanks for the sub, bro. How? Because you're annoying a lot, and then when I tell you you're annoying, you just keep going. Which is why from now on, 3 strikes, you're out. But you're okay. I am annoying sometimes. But I'm allowed to be annoying. I'm the streamer. Where's my buttons? I don't know where my buttons are. Thank you for the sub. I messed it up. This is better. Thank you for the sub, Chris. Yeah. But the song that's playing right now? I don't know if I... Oh, I like this song. I don't know how to play the song. It's actually really easy to play. Ugh. This is a good song, right? You guys could put music if you want. Hey, I'm gonna get free experience on Magikarps now. Bro, how you doing, Chris? How's life? I'm looking for my other slipper. Oh. You forgot how? You're not new, bro. You're not new. This is how. What did I want to say? I don't remember. Oh, yeah. I was thinking of doing a music stream once a week. You know, to actually do something that's more talented. Playing games. Playing games can have talent, but I don't know how much talent I have in these games. Actually, in Pokemon, I'm pretty decent-ish. Hey, you want to see? Bro, you want to see my slipper? Smells good. It doesn't. It smells. Actually, it smells. You have been home for 3 months. I don't remember crap. 2.5 months actually, but fair. Oh, actually, I think my brother showed me this song. Bro, I actually have this on my Spotify. This is a good song. I guess I remember. Yeah, there you go. Bruh. This song is a viddy. Yes, it is a viddy. It's a vibe. It is. It's mad good. Oh my god, this fisherman's name is Elliot.
That's my name.
Yeah, the first time I heard the song, anytime I show it to someone, they're like, what? Look at my enormous penis. Such a vibe. Ugh. This band, or not band, I think they have like one or two other songs that are pretty funny or good or whatever as well. One Piece Lo-Fi. Oh yeah, that was pretty good. You spell my name wrong, Jesse. Permaban. Okay, you get a permaban for that. That's the mood I'm in right now. I mean, hi. Yeah, what's up? You spell my name wrong, bro. It's been 2 years. There's like not many ways you could spell that name. Hey, we got Taylor to level 10. Elliot, that's boring. Bro, you find everything boring. You're boring. Oh. The song's actually mad good. Bro, I'm so tempted to ban you now. You spelled it wrong twice. Bruh. Like, that's not the first time either. How do you spell it wrong so much? That's so weird. Do it. You're the mod. I was joking. Hydrate. Thanks for the hydrate. I do need to hydrate. I ate a lot of onions. Thank you. I'll do it. Yo, we got Kazuki here. Kazuki's probably Japanese. Oh, there's Eevees everywhere. Wait, what the hell? Let's go. I love this thing. Joking, not joking, joking. Thing is going my way. Okay, that was off. Way. Oh shit. This Eevee's level 20. Why are they all like level 20, bro? Los Tucanes de Tijuana. You have a Tailo too? Nice. Nice. I like Tailo. Swallow was like one of my favorite like bird Pokemon from the list. And one of my least favorite is Unpheasant because it's so weird. We're gonna go with Sleep Powder here. I invested in Zigzagoon too. Nice. This is a Mexican song. Nice. This is a Goofy song. Nice. It sounds mad nice though, bro. This makes me want to go to Mexico now. I'm not even lying. Like, what? Wait, do I even have Great Balls? It's a bop? It sounds like a bop. Why am I trying to poison Powder? He's literally sleeping. You love this song? Nice. Oh, that didn't do as much. That did a little bit more damage than I thought, actually. I could actually use Eevee on my team. Let's go. First try. Well, when Eevee evolves. Because if we get Eevee into a Jolteon, we could have an electric type, psychic, normal, grass, poison, water, ground, and a flying on our team. Which is not bad. Electric type. The nice thing about having electric types is that they only have one weakness. The way you're trying to say, I don't know the song, bro. I don't know Spanish. What is that? An accordion? What are they playing it on? What instruments are they using? Sounds like a bongo or something. I don't know. Bro, I would sing this if I knew the words. Wait. I'm gonna get canceled. Con ella. That means with her. Song. This means song. Y la chona luego busca bailador. La gente la mira y la empieza a gritar. Alright, you see, I wasn't bad. Nah, it's too cringe. I don't know. I don't know Spanish. Despacito. Bro, that song's so easy to sing. Despacito. Now this is a goofy song. Despacito. This guy gives me flash. This guy flashes me. Kind of crazy. Hey, El Boy Jimmy. Kudai Dehame Gritar. Wiley gotta sing it for us. Alright. Despacito, I think, is... Oh, Makuhito is not that bad either, actually. It's good practice also for Taylor to get levels up. If he doesn't kill us. I feel like... Ow. I just hit my face. I feel like Despacito is not hard to play. Let's look. You're so bad at saying it. I'm doing it on purpose. By purpose. I'm going to work out. Yeah, okay. I mean, enjoy. Bye-bye. Despacito. Despacito lyrics. Oh, yeah. I've actually tried Despacito before. You played this yesterday, right? Actually, I like this. It sounds nice. It's literally 4 chords. Oh, is it actually? That's right. You also play guitar. Guitarra, as they say in Mexico. Coldplay is here. Wait. I opened the tuner app by accident.
Monkey do bad. Monkey do very bad.
Why do I do bad? I'll tell you later how much I've changed. Okay. Alright. B minor is what? I don't remember stuff. Is this one, right? Wait. Sorry. Since you've said the chords, I'm just gonna look at the lyrics now. Huh? Is this B minor? Or is this B major? It sounds like major. Bro, I don't remember how to do B. I don't remember. I'm gonna look at an app. A music app, and watch. I'm gonna freaking kill it right now. It's not? Oh. It's a major, though. It's a major chord of something. I know that much. But the thing... Despacito. Louis Fonsley, right? Fonsi. I don't know. I'm gonna be in the park. They should do it in Japanese, bro. It sounds weird. Like, you have to put a capo for Despacito. It looks like. Or maybe not. I don't know. The original might be different. Oh, it's the 2nd fret. Ugh. Wait. Wait, I got this. Okay. Porque despacito, quiero respirar tu pelo. I don't know Spanish. Deja que te diga cosas al oído, para que te acuerdes si no estás conmigo. Despacito. It's too fast, bro. It's too fast. Despacito. You suck ass, and I like it. I do. Alright, I'm gonna go with Peck over here and take out this Makuhita. That was beautiful. Thank you. Make it rhyme with Ito. True. That's all I need to do. Not too bad. You should duet with Jimmy. True. Why does he sing it often? Or you mean your boy Jimmy? The Spotify singer. I don't like this song. But it sounds cool. Honestly, Go Bet is pretty good. So if one of you guys want a Go Bet, getting one in this cave is good. He has sung it in the past. Damn. Have you ever passed English class? Like, in Spanish, you could add Ito, and it makes sense. Ito is like little, right? Like, penisito would mean like little penis. I've studied a little bit of Spanish. I know my things. I would not call myself a singer. I would not call you a singer. No, I'm just joking. Yo, what's up, bros? I just got an escape rope. Are you proud of me? Wait, is that the first thing you heard when you came in? Oopsies. Hello. How are you doing? I'm shiny hunting right now. No, I'm not. I'm going to Steven and kind of training my Tailo along the way. There's an Eevee event now. I just caught an Eevee. No, yes. The delay kind of... Oh, an Abra. I mean, I already have Ralts. I don't really need an Abra, but... Penacito. I don't have penicillin, okay? I don't take drugs. I'm gonna use a Great Ball. My last Great Ball. It's outside the cave where Steven... Dewford Town? I don't know if it's an event, but there's Eevees, like, walking around, so... Look at this guy following me. I think I'm... Bro, how do I still get lost in this? I've played this game so many times. You're a head out? All right. Bye-bye. Thanks for popping in. See ya. See you next time. See you next time. All right, since he left, I skipped the song. Yo, Despacito. This is the song. Rose, do you know Despacito? Despacito. They talk about Cheetos in the song for some reason. Bro, I have $9,000 in this game. If only I had $9,000 in real life. Wait, can I do the beginning? Well, it just passed, but... I don't know. Oh, it actually starts out pretty slow. Okay. Dame, muéstrame lo lindo que yo voy. Tú eres el imán y yo soy el metal. I don't know. It's hard, bro.
Hello there.
Pulso despacito. Desperate Cheeto. Exactly. Hola. I'm doing estoy bien. ¿Cómo estás, Chi? Cito. I remember always they used to play this all the time in like bars or clubs or whatever. And no one knew that. I don't think anyone really knows the words. Maybe, I guess, do you guys know the words? Do Spanish speaking people know the words? You guys? Like, I don't know. Where am I going? I have to go this way. I feel like everyone just knows the chorus. I'm trying to look for them. They do say Ito a lot in this song. What the heck? Inténtalo. Tántalo. You guys ever do that? You ever look at a language you don't know for a song and just say the last word and you just feel like a boss? Like you know the song so well? Or is it just me? How many views does it have on YouTube? I'm kind of curious now. Poquito. I know that part. Despacito. Desperate Cheetos. Desperate Cheeto. Wait, what? What is this? What is this?
Welcome back. I'm joined now by an old friend, Donald Trump. Natural. Good boy.
And I came in and so I'm doing
Screwing it up since.
Oh, this is political. I thought it was gonna be Desperate Cheeto.
Hey, you think you're pretty special, but you're just a phony.
What the hell is this, bro? This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Huh? Randy wrote it. We just sang it. Oh, this is so weird. Let's just go back to the original. Anyway, so Pokemon. I don't know. check out my latest video. Streamlabs, stop freaking self-promoting in chat. Can someone ban Streamlabs? Oh, there's a lot of Chinese people on right now. The chat is all in Chinese. What if I ask them, can I talk in here? I can. I don't want to whisper though. That seems weird. Does anyone want to be my friend? Does that sound weird? I'm not trying to make it weird. I just want to see if people respond. Oh, we have to go this way. Let's go. Bro, I'd be so bad speedrunning this. This was the first shiny I ever caught in a Pokemon game. Aaron. It has weed eyes. It looks kind of cool, but it has weed eyes. So, Amanda would know. Just kidding. Just kidding. Look at this Pokemon. Look at its shiny version. It's so weird. Why is it so red? Oh, you guys can't see it because of my face. You guys literally can't see it because of my... Well, you could see it here. Oh. Okay. It's too red. And why did I use Peck? Despacito. Sorry, I didn't dance. I'm not much of a dancer. Oh, this is Jessik's song. He loves this band. I remember. Calling out Jadept. It's okay. Jadept's not paying attention. What is this Instagram that you sent? This is exactly how I imagine New York.
What is this? Nothing pizza, bro. With a roast. Ain't got no
bro.
and a roast. Bro.
Bro, that's not how New York... Okay, that kind of is. I'm not gonna lie. But it's not everywhere in New York, okay? Not all of New York is like that. I've never seen a pizza without sauce. Well, like, that looked weird, okay? That's not typical. Usually there's sauce and cheese on the pizza. So, yeah. That's not New York. Bro, that's California, okay? Where half of you live. Alright? If so, I won't go. That's not New York. New York is like... You have cockroaches, yeah. But there's cockroaches everywhere, okay? Except like Antarctica. Alright? So like... You won't be able to escape cockroaches. We get cockroaches here. Well, not in my room usually, but... Water bugs or whatever, which are like the same thing. Because I'm in a basement. You've never seen a cockroach? Bro. Okay. Good for you, bro. I don't know what to tell you. They still exist, okay? I want to be... Bro, you don't find... Why would you find a rat in your pizza? That doesn't happen. The rat would be burned in the pizza oven, alright? It wouldn't be on the pizza. Okay? They would get burned in the oven. Just like nothing else, because I'm not gonna make edgy jokes. Oh my god, you could catch a Sableye in this route? Is that rare? I don't remember in the original game that being a thing. They cooked them up and put it on my toppings. Yeah, but if you don't know, like, what's the difference? Like, you're not gonna know it's a rat. It'll just, you know, taste a bit chewy and the texture will be a bit weird, but it's not gonna be that crazy. Alright. Wait, did they ever answer me in this chat? They did not. Does anyone want to be my friend? And this guy says, where to find Alpha Meowth? Bro, that's so messed up. That's so messed up. I have to keep alt-tabbing just to play the game. It's so stupid. Okay, here we go. In Australia, I'd be very surprised if there was a rat on my pizza. Same thing in New York, okay? That's not a common thing, alright? That's not a thing. I've never seen a rat in my pizza or cockroaches, okay? That guy probably went in the garbage. He went dumpster diving. And he found it, and then he's like, "Oh, this is New York." Okay. What did I do? You did everything. I don't remember already what I said, but yeah. Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, you missed it. You're gonna have to check out the VOD. Subscribe to the YouTube, the Patreon, OnlyFans. That's the only way you could not miss out on any content. My name is Steven. Steven is the sexiest character in any Pokemon game. And he's actually of age, so I could say that. Which is nice. Even though he looks like a tiny sprite. Extreme Speed Lanoon. I guess when I breed my Zigzagoon, I did, you know, there's no other way, right? Plus, I don't know if they have Gen 8 rules here, so. Bet. Oh my god, Jadep Jamari. Thank you for the exclamation point YouTube. This is a Naruto song. I need to buy more balls. I don't have enough. But yeah, I'm thinking of doing like once a week. This thought just came to me right before stream. Once a week music stream. Why is this guy literally everywhere? Excuse me. Music stream where I've done this a couple of times in the past on the channel, where basically you guys say stuff in chat and then I just make music out of that. I think it's kind of fun. And then maybe I'll like try to learn how to like mix it or whatever and make it an actual song. But that will be in the future, probably. Extreme Speed wasn't Gen 3. No, someone literally said you can only get Extreme Speed in Gen 8 by breeding. Unless I was mistaken, but I'm pretty sure that's what someone said yesterday. Does he learn? Yeah, I know Extreme Speed was in Gen 3 because Arcanine has Extreme Speed. And he's one of the Elite Four members, Pokemon. I think. Maybe that's Fire Red. Whatever. But I don't know. Maybe I'll look it up. Make a song out of Cigarette Daydreams chords. Cigarette Daydreams. Isn't that Cigarette Daydreams? What is that? Rayquaza also has it. Yeah, Rayquaza does. But I don't think people really put Extreme Speed on Rayquaza, do they? Is Cigarette Daydreams that Japanese band? I had an advertisement from Japanese band Cigarette Daydreams. No. Oh. Cage the Elephant. Oh, that's the one you showed me a while ago. Oh, I was thinking about Cigarette. I don't know. There was some band called Cigarette something. It was a weird one. Well, it wasn't weird, but like it was a weird name. And I had a friend I had a friend who went to see them in concert. So, yeah, pretty cool. All right, let's beat the second gym, get the experience share, and then this game becomes much easier. What is this? Oh, town map. Cigarettes after sex? I don't think that's the one. No, it was like a weird name. Put a song by Cigarettes After Sex if you want. Oh, I love hearing new music. Especially if it's amazing. If it's not amazing, it's a permaban. But should I verse Brawly now? Nah, I'm gonna train more. I want Tailo to evolve. He's not even evolved yet. He's like level 12. Did someone just get slapped in the ass? What was that sound? Okay. Sorry. I had to message in the mods chat on Discord and tell the mods to ban anyone that they want. So, you know, so that they could do their job. Cigarettes after sex is very dream pop, slow tempo. Some might find boring. Okay, so don't put it. Why did Fire Punch do so much damage? What is this song? It's taking forever. Oh, this is the Caged Elephant one? I don't remember this song being this slow. I'm literally falling asleep. I mean, it sounds amazing. Is it just taking that long to get to the thing, or? Burn makes your attacks, physical attacks, do half damage, right? Is that since Gen 1? Does anyone know? Oh yeah, I remember this song now. Yeah? Oh damn. That's so crazy, because they changed so many things throughout the gens. But for that to remain the same is interesting. I guess they think it's balanced enough. 'Tis the new regime. Bans get handed out like bread. Yes. I wouldn't say like bread. But, well, I guess, yeah, like bread, because I'm not handing out bread that often either, so. Why do I get supersonic? This is so weird. Do I want a 55% accurate move? Honestly, supersonic is not that bad early game. And we don't need protect now, so. You die down in rain. Alright, we're gonna train Talo. He keeps dying. No, actually, I don't care. We're just gonna actually, I do care. We're gonna train him. I posted something to the Discord. Cool story. No, I'm joking. I'll check it out right now. I lied. Not right now. After I heal my Pokemon and stuff. I think I'm gonna train Talo in the cave. My mother says we're home. Nice. I don't care. Just kidding. You said Discord, right? Discordo. What am I looking at on Discord? This is for Zigzagoon for Gen 3. Also, he does learn extreme speed. Put 100 Pokemon in Pokemon box? Well, what does that mean? If you put 100 Pokemon in the Pokemon box, you get extreme speed? I don't get it. What Doctor said, we tricked Ping into giving us more power. Pretty much, yeah. Not that much more power, but not more power. Bruh. People understand. Most people are chill. Most people don't have to worry about anything. Listen to change. Bro, I want to karaoke. I gotta hit up some people, some friends to come over. That's how you get extreme speed on it? That's so weird. You put 100... You see, like, I would have never thought that, but that's interesting. That's cool to know. That's actually really cool to know. What... So it doesn't matter what level it is, you could just get extreme speed? With great power comes great responsibility and all. Yeah, exactly. I watched Spider-Man as well. Oh, all night. What level does Talo evolve? 15? 16? No, it evolves kind of late, right? 18 or something? Yo, we got Wing Attack. Let's go. Probably just going to take Heck out. We have Focus Energy too, actually. We might be able to sweep with him. I doubt it would be in this game, though. Well, I would have to get 100 Pokemon first, but that's a cool thing to try out. And if it works, that's a good thing to show. As a good, like, short, you know, for YouTube Shorts, or like a good TikTok. Content brain comes in there. Come on. Look at my beautiful red cap, green cap. Algo impresitando de el Pokemon. So this is all Spanish and Chinese. I wonder why. I guess because people are playing in the morning, Sunday morning, in China. Because extreme speed is pretty damn good. Extreme speed is pretty damn good. Extreme speed is 80 attack, right? Like 100% accuracy. That is actually really good. I think Wing Attack will let us practice much faster now. What is this song, Dino? Did I already verse everyone? Am I dumb? Should I go for the gym leader? I guess if I versed everyone, yeah, I have no other choice. Well, I could train, but I believe in him. +3 priority. Well, yeah, it's definitely has like insane priority. It must have. What moves have higher priority than extreme speed? I mean, there must be moves that do. How much priority does Shadow Sneak have? Like 1? +1, +2? I mean, extreme speed literally has extreme in its name. Like, oh damn, I'm not gonna be able to take out that first Pokemon. This is not good. I should have used Sleep Powder and then switch out. I do have Supersonic though. Shadow Sneak has 1? Oh, okay. Let's see. All priority moves Pokemon. I'm kind of curious. Okay, so this is Gen 8. Damn, Gen 7 and Gen 8 had such... Each gen had such a difference. So at first it was just Quick Attack and Counter. That's crazy. Extreme Speed only has 1. Detect, Protect, and Endure have more. Extreme Speed... Huh, Extreme Speed always had 1, it looks like. Oh no, Gen 5 it had +2. Which makes sense. It's literally Extreme Speed. It should be faster than Shadow Sneak, Aqua Jet. +2. So it remains at +2. It's always been it's been +2 since Gen 5. What is that, Black and White? Helping Hand has the highest priority. That's crazy. That's so random to me. And it's had the highest priority since it was introduced in Gen 3. Wow. What was it introduced with? Plusle and Minus? Whatever, I guess. Half the people here are like, what is this guy talking about? What do I use here? Does Water Gun do better because of Stab? I'm just going to use Water Gun. Shadow Sneak has 1. Protect things are the only things faster. That's still really good. Yeah, there's a lot of priority moves. Minun is better than Plusle. Don't they both kind of suck? Unless you use them together. Damn, he crit me. We can't even take out the first guy so far. Yeah. I think Seed Bomb will do a good amount of damage. I'm not even gonna... Yep, there we go. There was no point to make him sleep or whatever. Meditite. How fast is Meditite? Oh, he has Confusion. That's super effective. I didn't realize it was super effective for such a long time, but it's because Ivysaur is grass poison. He's poopy boy. Psychic. Yes. Oh, is this my backup music? Or did someone request this? I'm kind of curious. Let's see. Nah, it's my backup music. Let's go, Jimi Hendrix. Why does he have such sucky Pokemon? Was his ace always Makuhita? For some reason I thought he had Hariyama or something. Hariyama. Yama meaning mountain and Hari meaning I don't know. Night running, nice. Oh, all Pokemon up to level 28 will obey me now. Okay, that's good. Clouds. I learned how to play this. There was a girl who really loved Jimi Hendrix when I was in high school. So I learned how to play some Jimi Hendrix songs. And she also played guitar. She was pretty cool. He's literally the second gym leader. Good point. I guess I thought that just because you get access to crazy Pokemon in this game early on, you know? I have 2 starter Pokemon. But I guess that's because of events. I did not mean to go to Petalsburg. Free. What she said. The Pokemon Obey thing only affects Pokemon traded to you. Wait, is that true? Are you serious? This whole time I thought it... Oh, that makes sense. Because you just over level... Wait, does he not take you to Slateport? Oh, because I have to give the... I have to get experience share and stuff. Fly on, little wing. What the hell is going on here? Why are people going back and forth here? Is there like a shiny Pokemon? Oh, I forgot to buy balls. Oh, none of my Pokemon are following me. Do I have to reset it every time I go back in the game? Fly out, little wing. I can play every game pre-Gen 7 on my 2DS. Pre-Gen 7. What is Gen 7? Gen 8 is Sword and Shield. Gen 5 is Black and White. And it's Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Moon. What's Gen 7? Why I can't think of it right now. X and Y? No. X and Y is Gen 6. I can't think right now. 1 to 7? Gotcha, but what is Gen 7? Like, I can't think of what it is right now. Like, what games are Gen 7? What was before Sword and Shield? I can't remember. Oh, that was Sun and Moon? Oh, okay. So Gen 6 was X and Y. Right. Okay. Right. 7 is also Let's Go. Yeah, I don't really count Let's Go as part of the main series, though. I want a bike. It takes so long to walk to one place to another. Let's go get our experience share. Let's go. So you can play up until Sun and Moon. Every pre-Gen 7. So you can't play Sun and Moon. Or Sword and Shield. Or Brilliant Diamond. Or Let's Go. Or Ultra Sun and Moon. Or Scarlet and Violet. Which didn't come out yet. I'm gonna give the experience share to Ralts. How do I do that? Experience share. Battle items, medicine items. Hey, that's pretty easy. I should open the anniversary chest also. Pokédex? Bro, I'm pressing all the buttons out here. No. I don't remember which button it was. Whatever, I don't care. Yeah, neither do I, which is why I said also instead of including it. 7 is also Let's Go. Yeah, gotcha. I can play Gen 7. I meant pre-Gen 8. Ah, gotcha. Oh, that's really good then. You could play almost every Pokemon main series game. That's actually pretty insane. I can't believe it's Gen 9 right now. You know the 1000th Pokemon is probably going to come out? I bet you they're going to make that like a special thing. I don't know why I just went here. I don't think anyone needs to heal life. Now I could go to Slateport, I think. Not Gen 9 yet. Yeah. No, well, because there's 898 Pokemon, I think. So Gen 9... Well, the first gen had like 151 Pokemon, obviously. Second had, I don't know how many. 100 maybe? The third... I don't remember. But it averages out to like more than 100 per gen, so... SNV, is that what people call Scarlet and Violet? Yeah, it hasn't released yet. Probably gonna do a 24-hour stream on it when it releases. Probably a hardcore Nuzlocke, a blind hardcore Nuzlocke. Oh, that's no, a regular Nuzlocke, a regular blind Nuzlocke. I think I'll do that. Let's go to Slateport now. No, you don't think we're gonna reach 1,000? Oh, that's not how they say S and V. You mean? I shorten it because I'm typing with one finger. No worries, no worries. Soft sound, let's go. Soft sound boosts ground type moves, I think, if I remember correctly. So I'm just gonna give it to Mudkip. See the marching band. Somewhere you grow up. I mean, he really doesn't have mud. When he has mud shot, that'll be more useful. But do I want to verse them? Not really. I kind of want to. What do I want to do? What did I just find a water stone? That's not what that said, is it? Actually, I do need to get XP. Let's verse people. In the summer parade. Tuber Simon. When I was a young man, me into the city. I'm kind of curious if there are other people streaming this game right now. Jared is playing Mario Kart. It's probably where half of chat is right now. What did I want to look up? PokeMMO. It's weird seeing our character with like double the amount of pixels to the NPCs. Is it? Is that how it is? I didn't pay attention. I'll try to pay attention after this battle. Hey, how many people are streaming it? Cringe stream. Big drama, orama. Wow. There's like no one who plays or watches this game. I mean, there's some people, but I like it though. It's a fun game. Quick attack. Carry on, we'll carry on. Ralts is level 5. Let's go. I didn't realize Ralts is such a low level though. Ooh, Slab is such a bad move. I feel like Slab always misses. It has like 70% accuracy, which is pretty bad, but like it feels like it has like 50% accuracy. Your Ralts is almost level 8. Nice. I feel like the pixels are pretty similar, no? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm blind. I don't know why I'm so... I want to train my Tailo so much. I should just... I don't know. I feel like I don't use Tailo that often. That's why. Alright. This guy's just walking around with the Venusaur. What are you up to in the game, Chi? The next thing I need is to get a freaking bike. Because running is a bit frustrating. Take a heart. Break a heart. You can... I'm assuming you can make clans in this game, right? You can't chat while in a battle. That's weird. I'm probably gonna attack. Goldeen die, I mean. Goldeen has poison jab. I thought it would have horn attack. Carry on, we'll carry on. Let's go Zigzagoon. Yeah, I should probably train my starter more. Guilds most likely, yeah. Just walking through the forest. Haven't played since yesterday. Sames. I stayed up talking on the phone for like hours, which was, you know, fine. And then I ate food. The only food I ate of the day. And then I think I watched some YouTube and I went to sleep like at 8. Why is this guy with a mic? I've been kind of lazy with the job applications today, which is not good. Oh, and I woke up so late. I woke up like at 1. which is also not good. Why would the AI go for water gun when tackle does more here? That was so weird. We'll carry on. There's an alpha Meowth somewhere. Everyone keeps talking about it in the servers. China and Spanish servers. Oh, with water gun here. That's kind of our fault. Yeah. No, it's not. At the end of the day, it's my fault for deciding to stay on the phone for so long. It's not a fault thing. It's just, it is what it is. You know? I'm gonna put my hairy feet up. I'm self-conscious of my hairy feet. Is rock throw? I don't know. Tentacle is kind of annoying. 17.6k is getting close to God Monkey to force it to play Pocket Mirror. I don't know. A lot of people are gonna be fighting for God Monkey. Oh yeah, Doctor, what do you want me to play? What do you want me to play next Thursday? He's gonna be like, Hollow Knight, Celeste, Jump King, all at the same time. I'm not getting it this time. Aw. Let's do some more Hollow Knight. Alright. Some more Hollow Knight it is. Oh, Jadept Jamari has the most hours. That's funny. You're getting killed out here, Doctor. Asaksa Mikasa. Got it. Didder. I thought that was Doctor for a second. Look at this guy's name. Didder. Yo, what's up, Didder? Didder's... He left me. Didder left me. Okay. I gotta stop alt-tabbing. It's not a good habit of mine. I'm not even top 10. Don't worry. People get hype when I come back, and then most people will leave forever. So, you know, if you stick around, you'll get points. S++ tier chatter for real. Nah, I wouldn't say that, but yeah, Jamanda's pretty chill. I wouldn't go that far, but wait, can you have double battles in this game? Because I tried. Oh yeah, you could. Because I had the battle with the twins earlier on. Never mind. Jamanda Doctor. I feel like I could take on the third gym at this point with Ivysaur. What is it like? Level 24 is his highest Pokemon? Something like that, I think. Hey, my Ronce is level 8 now too. Oh no! I forgot to put my laundry in the dryer, bro. Oh my, I'll be right back. Oh, that's not good. I'll be right back. You're racist? Yes! No! Yes! Not to the racist part. to what happened in the game. Oh, never mind. Pink, the main characters are underaged mostly. Listen, alright? So what? Age is just... Listen, okay? The age in Japan is 50. Listen, okay? Listen.
Banana, hola.
Tyler, did you die when I said don't die, bro?
Nah, dude. Nah, there was a guy sniping on the footstool or on the steps, and
Sounds like you died.
and then as I was trying to like jump over.
Oh, right there. Damn, bro.
Did he get trick shotted? I got run over. Of course I'm muted. Now I feel like a dumbass. Damn. Back when I used to be younger. My younger days. Oh, I love this song. Oh, I love the song. If you don't know the song, you should get to know it. It's a good song. Almost every night. Hey, Taylor will evolve. Eventually. Mommy? Wait, no, I shouldn't say that. Bro, I just read the word, but I forgot, like, most of the characters in this game are just, like, children. I think I get something from this person. I lied. You get nothing from this person. They don't bite it. I'm gonna put Magikarp out in the front. So he gets more XP because he's still pretty low leveled. I think Taylor's level 15 now, and Mudkip is like 14ish, 15. But he's like our starter, so should use him more. Yeah, he's 15. Acid is such an annoying move, though. Especially when you miss. And you get the lower defense thing. It's actually not that bad. Marshtomp pre-third gym is correct. Yeah. Good point, actually. Because Mudshot just kills, just sweeps the third gym. I didn't even think about that, but that's 100% true. He's about to die though. No, I didn't. I wanted to change out so he would get XP. Okay, he's dead. Let's get Zigzagoon out. Almost every night. Headbutt should kill, yeah. Zigzagoon's like mad good right now. He just gets headbutts so early on. Ooh, Ralts has Hypnosis. The moonlight. Let's go. Let's go. First evolution of the game. Oh no, second evolution of the game. I don't even know if it's worth versing all the other trainers in Slateport. I might as well just push May for the rival battle. And yeah, what should I take out? I'm tempted to take out Rock Throw, but like we have such variety. I'll take out Supersonic actually. Did I get the Whalmer Pale? No, I forgot. So that I could like get berries, right? Yeah, but can't other people steal your berries? I don't know how berries work in this game. Because if so, it must be like really hard to get citrus berries and like berries in general. But you could buy berries like somewhere. Here, no? Can't you buy certain types of berries? Or I don't know. If I have a Pokemon with pickup, I could just do that and get berries. Worst case scenario. You think berries are universal? Yeah, that sucks then. There's no incentive to like to grow berries in this game though. Dancing in the moonlight, everybody. Wait. Am I crazy? What do we have to do? Oh, we have to find the guy. I remember as a kid I was so lost at this part. Cuz it was such a weird like it's like confusing, but you have to talk to this guy. What was his name? Doc. His name is Doc. And it's for Captain Stern. It's so dumb. What I'm supposed to do. Na, 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 na. Mudkip is too easy. I was here for a while. You were stuck here for a while? Yeah. It's weird, right? Oh, this guy gives you Thief. Give me Thief. Yes, now leave. I was part last. Huh? I'm sorry. I don't know what you're trying to say. Oh, I was lost here for a while. Yeah. I figured that's what you're trying to get across. What does he have? Poochyena or Carvana? I want to get Jolteon already. I want a Thunderstone. Do I have to wait till Lily Cove for the department store, or can I get it? See, this is why Rock Smash is good. Wait, what is Carvana's typing? Dark. Oh, I guess it's dark water, right? That's why this is super effective. Let's go. Ron still didn't level up. Come on. Oh, I forgot I have to. What does this guy have? Uchiana? Zubat. Same thing. Except it has Supersonic and could be kind of an. Oh, he has 2 Pokemon. Marshtomp has such a variety of moves in this game. It's so crazy. It makes things so much easier early game. Even though he just died. We fight together. To get her? Damn. Kind of sussy. Should I quick attack here? Quick attack will kill, right? Yeah. This is the best song. If Chris was here, he would get very excited. Lola. Oh, I didn't mean to use quick attack. Ice Fang. Jesus. That's a strong move for a level 14. Like fish. Alright, let's go with the Zigzag one. What level does Ralts evolve? 20 something? Oh, Jesus. He's actually sweeping my team. I should have used Ivysaur. He's literally grass type, but. Oh my god. Eevee has double kick. Let's go. I'm gonna skip this song. For some reason, it's always so low. The YouTube video is low. I think that's why. Dino hates that one. Eevee from where? It was in Dewford Town. There was a bunch of Eevees around, and I just caught it somehow. I got lucky. I like this song. Bro, there's like a set amount of songs I would listen to in Japan like almost every day. And this was one of them. And I learned how to like sing it. Like I learned the words of it or whatever. While I'm taking a poop in the morning before going to work, I would listen to the song and like sing it in my bathroom, in my tiny, tiny bathroom. Good times, good times. I think it was in the mornings. Didn't I say to make my abilities average in my next life? OP. I swear to God, the names of some anime are just so stupid. Why is it that long? I think I have access to versus my rival now. She's probably gonna start with her grass type starter, I'm guessing. So we'll just put our flying type first. I don't remember how they start. Hey, look at my boy Birch. Birch, leave me. I just ran into her for like half a minute. She has 2 Whalemers on her side, but she takes out a Plusle. I don't understand why some battles are double battles and some aren't. It's really weird to me. Oh, I'm gonna get killed. Wait, this is not a good matchup. I love the anime called My Next Life as a Villainess. All routes lead to doom. Thanks for the hydrate. Bro, Lola was just playing. You missed it. Damn, I got paralyzed. Oh my, I just realized how over leveled we are with some of our Pokemon. Thank you for the hydrate. Seed bomb should do half damage. Ooh, oh yeah, we're 9 levels above. I literally just mentioned that. Let's go. Minoon. Why would you use quick attack? Actually, I guess Thunder Shock wouldn't do much damage, so. I'm sorry for yawning so much. I don't know why I'm yawning so much. I literally went to sleep like at 8 a.m. No, I went to sleep 7:30. And I woke up like 1:30. So that's 6 hours of sleep. I guess that's not that good. I shouldn't be tired now. It's literally just 9 p.m. Na, 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 na. It's very early. It is very early. Are you tired, Dino? Because you went to sleep very late too. Wait, what? That was... I just realized I didn't verse the other guy. You're not tired? Maybe I'm tired because I've literally been indoors all day. You're hungry? I'm not hungry. Oh, why do they keep having Moon and Plusle? So annoying. It's 11:16 a.m. for me. Wow. That's actually pretty early. 11 a.m. That's right, Australian times. What difference is that? 9, 12, 13, 14-hour difference. Quick maths. Saiko. Please don't. Yes, it didn't paralyze me. 15? Wait, 14, no? Yeah, yeah, 14 hours. I know my math. It's 9 p.m. here. You guys are in the future. How does it feel like being in the future? I keep getting paralyzed. You're making a guess? Oh. Good guess, though. Good guess. I mean, I know between New York and Japan, it's a 12-hour difference. Sometimes 11 or sometimes 13. I forget. Depends on daylight savings time. They don't have that there, but they have it here. So I just, yeah. And I know Australia is a couple hours away from Japan, so. I guess you guys are 2-hour difference. Pretty depressing being in the future. It's pretty okay being in the present. The future is dead. You'll see in 5 hours. 5 hours, hopefully I'll be heading to sleep. This song sounds happy. And then it ended. No, video unavailable. I just skip it. Yes, Talo. Evolve level 16, 18, one of those. I always forget. Please one-shot kill, one-hit KO. I know you're not gonna, but... Citrus... Why do you have a citrus berry on a shroomish? Oh my god. Talo, why'd you die? Why is Talo so hard to train? Kimi to no rabu story, sore wa yosotori. Bro, why do you have Drain Punch? Is Headbutt gonna even do enough? No! You're not top 10 yet. Oh my god, I have 1 life. Bro, get the crit. I don't need the crit here, right? Yeah. Imagine this was a Nuzlocke and I took that risk. And I survived at 1 health. Sheesh. That would be crazy. I'm just gonna go for the rival here. Amanda's killing it. Amanda's literally just lurking. I'm guessing. But yes, Amanda is killing it. Actually, Creata's bot is killing it. And Amanda is not far behind. This is a good song. I don't want to verse this guy. No, wait, you can't do the walk by trainer trick in this game, huh? Or you might be able to, but like, because you have to go into the party and then go out. They probably took that out. Oh, that's annoying. I need a fire Pokemon. I should have gone for Torchic. Blaziken would have been cool. I don't know. We're just gonna go to our water boy. Ugh. Rock Tomb is annoying. I know it's not powerful, but it's still annoying. Why does he have sturdy? Why does every Pokemon in this game have sturdy? Oh, and that hurt. Why did that hurt? He missed! Why did I go? I shouldn't go for much shot when someone has 1 health left. I'll just go with the water gun. See my side. Goodbye. Electrike. Ooh. Oh, why did he use quick attack? Let me get the kill. Yeah. Being cool isn't enough to win. Yes. Can't believe he had to figure that out by losing. I think today's stream is gonna be kind of short. I need to look up jobs. And then I need to beat May. But I do want to beat the 3rd gym before the end of the stream. She starts with Slugma? Oh, I should have started with my start. She has 4 Pokemon. I completely forgot how this battle is. Hello there. Yo, what's up, Nathan? How you doing? She withdrew Slugma for Grovyle? That's like so dumb. Where's the logic there? And of course it has a citrus berry. Oh, because he has a Rock Tomb. And now Taylor's gonna die. Nice. That's annoying. Alright, Ivysaur, your time to shine. This is PokeMMO. I'm doing good, Nathan. I'm doing good. It's a Pokemon game where you could play with other people. Skittle the dog. Did I not get the poison thing? Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the follow. Let me just check. Oh, my Discord was stuck. It's because I was zooming into the picture that you sent, G. So I was like lost. Okay. Why doesn't... Wait, why can't I poison him? Am I dumb? Or do I just keep missing? He just keeps avoiding it? Are you serious? I'm just gonna take down. I don't care. Have you seen the Breath of the Wild multiplayer? I have not. There's Breath of the Wild multiplayer? God Monkey is next month. God Monkey is indeed next month. You excited? Slugma is gonna come out now because I have Ivysaur, yeah? Or Tailo makes more sense. Okay. I should change out. What can I use against Tailo? Just gonna use him. Bet. What, do you want to make him play Genshin? Can you send the link to the Breath of the Wild multiplayer? Or you don't need to. I could look it up later. What is it? Breath of the Wild 2? Or is it like for the original? Where do I download this? You could just go on Google and type in PokeMMO. Oh, it's on the top left actually, right here. But yeah, PokeMMO. And yeah, and then you have to like upload ROMs. You have to upload like the actual ROMs, which you could maybe find online yourself legally, and then you'll be able to play. It's pretty cool. Like there's other people in the overworld. Here, I'll show you right now. Oh, I have Swift on Eevee. I just realized that. I'll show you after I kill Slugma. Breath of the Wild multiplayer is just a mod. Oh, that's still sick though. When did it come out? She has a Whalmer? She don't know, she don't know. Yeah, legally, exactly. I mean, if you have the games, you could put them, what's it called? You could put them on the computer and then play through an emulator. That's legal. I own, like, every Pokemon game I've played, so. You know, I don't feel bad. It came out, like, 5 days ago? Oh, shit. How did you learn about it? Like, Point Crow or another YouTuber, like, did a video on it or something? This stuff interests me as a content creator, you know. Incinerate. Jesus, that's a strong move for level 15, no? Or 16. I didn't mean to use double kick again. Alright, well, you're dead, Eevee. Point Crow? Yeah. Point Crow is... I thought he was cool, and then I saw him, like... I saw he got into beef with Small Ant, and I was just like... This seems like such... Like, he was, like, being a baby, it seemed like to me. Like, he was like, oh, I got people to make a mod for me, but people thought that Small Ant made the mod. And it's like, bro, you paid someone else to make it. Like, how much of that was even, like, that amazing from you? Like, I don't know. It's just weird to me. Props to him, though. Like, he obviously works hard in his content and stuff. But, like, it just felt weird. He announced it a while ago? Oh, okay. Small Ant and Point Crow were friends. They're not friends anymore. They got into beef. Only OGs know. I watched, like, all of the beef, and it was just... It's kind of boring to me. Zigzagoon! You never heard of it? Oh. They both seem too similar to me. Yeah, so apparently... Honestly, I always distinguish them, personally, but I can see why you say that, Skittle. Because they are pretty different. I mean, similar. Why can't I run away? But yeah, they were friends. Point Crow asked Small Ant for help when he was starting his YouTube, or when he was making some content on his YouTube channel. So Small Ant helped him out a bit. But a lot of people were like, they had like some bullying banter, but apparently Point Crow felt like it went too far and Small Ant wouldn't do much to like stop it. And it became like this whole thing. And he basically said like he wants to stop talking. Why does this Abra have Grass Knot at level 15? That makes no sense. So he basically stopped being friends with Small Ant. This happened really... They make the same content. Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. When this happened in the past few months. Bullying banter, what does that mean? Like, you know, if you're versing a friend, like you might say, bro, that Abra was like intense. You might say, like, ha, you suck at this game or whatever. Like, I think they were saying stuff like that, but then like the chats would say it so often to Point Crow that it got like annoying, which that I could understand. But like he was saying that Small Ant wasn't doing anything, and once you look at like there's hours of information about this. Once I went through all of it because I had nothing else better to do with my life, I guess, and it was just like it wasn't that crazy to me. These are chants and Incantation towards the sky, preventing opposing Pokemon from landing critical hints. Well, Lucky Chant seems like such a good move for like specialized Nuzlocks. Otherwise, it's not very useful, so I don't want it. No job shenanigans. Yeah, pretty much. I would hope with a job I wouldn't be doing that type of stuff. I think I might die here and I'll have to restart, which is really dumb. This is the last trainer, I think, before Mauville. Oh, it's a Magnemite though, so. Should I use potions and stuff? Do I have potions? I have berries. Where'd I get berries? I'm gonna use a soda pop. Soda pop. Soda pop. Swift. How much is Swift gonna do? Oh, it didn't do that much. Okay. Let's use... We can't poison him because he's steel. And we miss Sleep Powder. I mean, I'm very dumb. Like, we're 10 levels above him. We could just spam Seed Bomb. Streamlabs, calm down. You don't need to say 3 things in a row. Like, Jesus. Streamlab timers are, like, so weird. I try to make it so it doesn't say 3 things in a row, but it just did. The timing is impeccable. Yeah, I don't know. To me, Point Crow just seems a bit jealous of Smalland. That's what it comes across as. Can you ban Streamlabs? I don't think you even can if you try. You can try, I guess, but I don't think you would be able to. You could delete the latest message with rules and all that, because that Nuzlocke is gonna start Monday, so those rules aren't really applicable now. But yeah. Should I lead with Marshtomp for the gym? Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I want a cooler Pokemon to follow me. Let's go, Wally. Let's go. The first song I've memorized in Japanese. Nope, there, mods. Yeah, there you go. Wait, so is it Salt Silver for tomorrow? Tomorrow for you, yes. After tomorrow for me, because it's Saturday for me, it's Sunday for you. So yeah, Soul Silver is gonna be Soul Silver Hardcore Nuzlocke will be tomorrow. I want to basically Nuzlocke, Hardcore Nuzlocke every vanilla game, so I get a lot of experience and understanding of Pokemon before doing crazier challenges. Also, I feel like it would be an achievement to just Hardcore Nuzlocke every vanilla game in the main series. So I've done Emerald, which is Gen 3. I've done Fire Red, which is Gen 3. I've done Diamond and Pearl, Gen 4. I'm going to do Soul Silver on Monday, which is Gen 4. So basically like that's how I want to do it. That makes sense. Can I shout out Jimmy? No. Why do you want to shout out Jimmy right now? It doesn't make sense. It has to make a little bit of sense, you know? Imagine Hardcore Nuzlocking a Kaizo game. Yeah, exactly. So the goal is in the future to Hardcore Nuzlocke Kaizo games or stuff. To get that one clip? Nah, it's okay. You could go to his channel and look through his clips, and then you could link that clip. Because shouting out, it picks a random one, and it would just take forever. And it gets in the way, because it goes on top of the screen. But thank you for asking. Let's go Wing Attack. Yeah, so the long-term goal is to Hardcore Nuzlocke really hard games, like Kaizo. I don't know if I would ever Hardcore Nuzlocke Kaizo, though, to be honest. Emerald Kaizo, for example. But because it just seems like insane. It just seems like, I don't know how exciting that would be. But I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll do that in the future. I'm not sure. Bro, this Scott guy comes to me all the time. He has to like chill. And then he just teleported away. Our team's actually looking pretty decent. As long as we could evolve Eevee. Because that would be nice. I don't remember how to do this. Do I have to verse 3 trainers or only this guy? Did I just hit that thing? I'm not sure. Oh. Wait, what? Yeah, I could just verse this guy. That's so easy. Slow me down. I don't remember if it was you or Jimmy who asked about my points. Oh yeah, Jimmy asked. But I wouldn't mind knowing your points. He just crit a rock smash? Bruh. Also, I want to play Insurgents more. Have you ever played through the Insurgents completely? Because I know you really want me to play it, but I don't know if you've played it much. Why does an electric gym have a zigzagoon? It makes no sense. And a Gulpin. What is Gulpin's typing? Poison? No, if it was, yeah, it is, okay. Because Mudshot's super effective. God, no? Really? Right now I got 25k. Wow, that's a lot of points. It's hard further in. Waiting for someone to coin flip. Jesus, Sludge Bomb is kind of strong. I mean, not to my guy, but you know. I'm good, but damn, it's hard. Maybe you're not as good as you thought you were. What's the furthest you've gotten in it? I'm just gonna say I can buy 3 VIPs. Wait, what? No way, bro. I don't believe that. Didn't you used to have a lot of points, but then you ran out of points? Did you get them all back? You can buy 3 VIP. What is that? 300k? In Jimmy's stream, I got 100k. In Jared's, I got 40k. Damn. What about the 7th gem? Oh wow, that's pretty far. Oh, you should feel proud of yourself for that, I guess. That seems pretty far. Let's verse Watson. I just realized his name is Watson, and Watt is like an electrical charge thing or whatever. They did that intentionally, huh? I'm so smart. Jesus, you have more than 300,000 points. If that's true, that's pretty insane. This is his ace, right? I don't think Magneton would be his first Pokemon. It is far? Makes sense, makes sense. I don't know, I feel like PokeTubers are doing crazy stuff now that Insurgents wouldn't... I don't know how hard... Like, so many PokeTubers do mono locks right now. I'm guessing Insurgents is harder than a mono lock, but... It's for me to stay God Monkey for a long time. Wait, what? Why did Mudshot do so little? Oh, he's been snarling. Oh, wait, that's not good. Oh my god, that did like nothing, bro. Okay, we got the speed down, though. I'm gonna go to Zigzagoon. You gotta be fast enough for God Monkey, though. The game has inbuilt options for Jesus, bro. Snarl is... No, I didn't mean... I don't even know what I pressed. Snarl does so much. The game has inbuilt options for challenges. Oh, what do you mean by that? How does... How does Snarl work? I forgot. But if you want to know my ways, I can tell you. Oh, you cheated to get more points? Oh my god. We're the same level. I think Manectric is his ace, actually. Oh, I'm faster because of the speed defense drop. You have Fire Fang? Oh my god, I'm so lucky he missed. I'm interested. I think I know how. I'll get a screenshot. All right, thank you. Ralts is trying to learn teleport. Nah, it's okay. Voltorb. I kind of want to change into Marshtomp again, but he has so little health. So I have a few options here. I could heal him. I think I'm going to heal him. Because I think he could sweep the rest of the team. In the betting, just bet 10, don't go all out, and just make people think you're low on points so they won't question it. Oh, so you've been bullshitting that you were low on points every time you bet 10? That's not really a way to get more points, but that is a way to trick people into thinking you don't have many points. Bruh. That makes sense. Hey, Cortez, what's up? How you doing, bro? Tie back? Huh? Sure. Tie back. You're back. Oh, Cortez is back, or I'm back. Hello there. Do we not, bro? What is with everyone having Snarl? Snarl is such an annoying move. Does it always have a proc, like lowers your special attack? And does it have like priority? Snarl Pokemon. People thought I had low points, so it was easy to hide my real around. Makes sense. That's crazy. That yeah, I was wondering how you had so low, so that makes sense. 95% accuracy. It only has 55 power, so why is it doing so much? I always kind of disregarded it because it didn't have much. Lower special attack. Become a water type with liquid voice. Punk rock. Oh yeah, punk rock is for every sound move, right? Yeah, I don't think these Pokemon have any of this. So why is it so strong? I always knew Nathan had a lot. He never uses them. Is Jessica here? He was here, but I don't think he's here now. Yeah. Turns out I don't have Insurgent on my new laptop. All right. It would make sense since I'm always here. True. That is true. But at a certain point, you were using a lot of points. But I guess a lot of like the stuff isn't like that many points, so makes sense. He used a super potion? What a loser. I did not expect that. Ivysaur is just freaking sweeping because of his level. If he dies, it's okay though. Level 1 paralyzed. Oh my god. Well, he's dead now. Black Clover. Let's get Marshtomp in here. Gonna get that Mud Shot, even though we're much lower level. Swift shouldn't do what, it'll do half damage, I'm gonna assume. Yeah. Mud Shot will do yellow. Ooh, Mud Shot killed. Wait, why did Mud Shot kill? Oh, because it's 4 times, right? Magneton is... No, wait. It is 4. Ground takes out Steel and Electric, right? Or am I going crazy? Bide. Why would I want to teach Bide? Hey! I'm going to lose points in bets with Doctor. Nice. Hey! Rosio. Nice raid emotes with that. Thanks for the raid, bro. You shouted out the wrong person, but nice. Thank you, Nathan. How you guys doing? Thanks for the raid. Check out Jimmy as well, though. You didn't get molested by Santa. Good job. How you guys doing? Thank you for the raid. Didn't have to do that. Bro, sometimes I jump into your streams and I watch a bit. Like, you always stream at hours that are not good for me. Which sucks, but... Thank you for the raid. Thank you for the raid, Jared. Yeah. I gotta change up the chords. It's always the same chords. You know what I'm saying? Welcome, welcome. For those that want to know what I do, I'm gonna be playing a lot of Pokemon style games on chat. But I like playing a lot of different games, so yeah. Playing PokeMMO, which is a Pokemon game you could play with other people. Which is pretty cool. And I'm gonna do Nuzlocke next week. But yeah. White guy blinking gif. Doctor is getting banned for shouting out the wrong person. How you guys doing, man? What were you guys playing? Oh, no, wait. I think I saw. You were playing Mario Kart, right? Yeah, you were playing Mario Kart. Yeah. I get lost in the sauce of Jimmy's clips. Yeah. Look at those head bobs from Rosio. Rosie? Damn, you really want to see me extreme stretch Fall Guys tonight? Yeah, I'm down. If Jared doesn't fall asleep, I'm down. Ugh. Whew. Whew. Thanks for the extreme stretch. I appreciate it. You guys could add music if you want, by the way. Jared will fall asleep. True. Probably true. Honestly, valid. I need a lobotomy at this point. Sure. I wouldn't go that far, but okay. How's everyone doing? Doctor here, where? Doctor here, where? Everywhere. Joctor. He changed his name to Joctor. European Brony. I don't know what that is, but I do recognize Living Tombstone. Tombstone? Tombstone. How was Mario Kart, guys? Who was winning most often? That's what I want to know. I kind of want to know. I want to know only if Jared was winning. If someone else was winning, I don't care as much. Because Jared is bae. Twice fall in love again. Damn. You love autocorrect? Yes. If you put a wrong song, you could do exclamation point wrong song, and it'll delete your last song. You slapped his ass? Damn. In the last rounds. Hell yeah, baby. It is true. I mean, sorry, Jimmy. Fat gold W, baby. That means you were concentrating on it and not chat, right? Because usually you concentrate... Damn, did I just... Usually you concentrate on chat, right? Jesus, how did I die? You concentrate on chat and then, like, that's why you play worse. So. Jared has gotten better or I have gotten worse or both. Probably both. I have a stupid nail in my PC and my cables get stuck there sometimes. So annoying. Bro, why is this guy killing me? But yeah, this is a Pokemon game where you could play multiplayer. So you guys could verse me in the game. It's pretty cool if you're a Pokemon nerd. And if you're not, that's fine too. Oh shit. Gee, look, this Zigzagoon has extreme speed. They have like competitive movesets. It's so weird. And like items. He had Power Gem, which is boosting his extreme speed. But yeah, if you guys are down to Fall Guys, I was actually gonna have a shorter stream today because I don't know, I just feel a bit low energy, more low energy than usual. But if we're gonna Fall Guys, I'm definitely down. Are you winning, son? No, I'm actually getting destroyed, but I will be winning one day. Poggers, not Poggers, because extreme speed is on the other side, not on my side. Possibly. Okay, okay. Why are you low energy? I think it's I don't know. I think it's because I woke up. I didn't feel like I've been trying to apply for a part-time job. And I didn't feel like going through all the emails and all the application processes and all this stuff. I was just kind of feeling eh. So yo, let's go. Look at these muscles, baby. What's up, Lando? Anyway, there was that. Extrasensory, bruh. There was that. And then I was just working on a YouTube video. And that took a lot of the day. I went to sleep 8 a.m. last night, or like 7:30. I woke up like 1:30. So it's been a weird day.
Yeah, there's my YouTube. Check it out.
I have a lot of weird, different type of content there, but I will eventually have a lot of Pokemon content there. Aww. Question of the day. I set that up yesterday, but no one said anything yesterday. Bruh. Ping is evolving into dad bod. Fall Guys equals Five Guys. Five Guys is not that tasty. I'm not evolving into dad bod, bro. That's so messed up, bro. Like, come on, my body's not that bad. Like, I will say that once I get the part-time job, I am gonna be exercising, going to the gym, and doing some swimming. You guys are gonna see me. You guys gonna be like, "Oh my god, he's so hot," and like, yeah, you're probably not gonna say that, but you're gonna be like, "Oh my god, he actually worked out." Honestly, I thought you'd be gone for 69 days. I was gone for around 70 something days, right? Let's go. Why are my arms so purple? All right. The song's actually pretty. Yeah, Living Tombstone actually has some coolish songs. X to Doubt. I do want to go swimming though. Why is Ralts learning Magical Leaf? That is so weird. I'm not complaining though. That's a good move. Oh, I've actually been pressing X. Look. So I'm doubting myself, bro. Bro, this controller is so white. Jesus Christ. Wow, I'm actually somehow not losing all my Pokemon. I thought I would lose. But we're still good. I wanna play games with Jared and stuff. The song's a remix. Excuse me. By TLT. The Living Tombstone. Gotcha. Why does he have Fake Out? He's a psychic fighting. You know how weird that typing is to like understand for me? Maybe because I'm a dumbass. It's so weird. Cause psychic, I don't know, it's just a weird typing. And now Zigzagoon's dead. Ralts getting Magical Leaf is normal? Oh. I just didn't realize it gets Magical Leaf then. That's a pretty decent move to get. Swift is probably my best move here. Hey! Oh, come on. That has like 70% accuracy. I mean, that means he would hit it most of the time, but... Come on, bro. I actually lost. Come on. I should have... Oh, I don't have a revive. Bruh. Do you lose money if you lose in this game? No, I didn't lose any money. Oh, yeah, that's weird. I gotta train my Pokemon, bro. Oh, does he give... Oh, he gives rollout. That's right. If enough people are... Mods, can you guys put a poll for... Can you guys put a poll for Fall Guys? If enough people want to play Fall Guys, I'm down to play a little bit. Gonna leave a lurk while I shower because I'm a stinky boy. Ooh, okay. Thanks for the lurk, bro. Salo and Marshtomp. Makuhita is probably more of a threat, right? I'm just gonna do super effective moves on both, and hopefully one hit KO. Damn it. Okay. I should have expected that. That was pretty dumb. I'm playing so dumb because it's not a Nuzlocke. You know I'm down for Fall Guys. What was the second option? Just yes, no, yeah. Just yes, no is good. You want to hear my... Bro! Just come to New York. You'll hear my screams at night. You get excited. Poll for Insurgents? Nah. And listen. We're going to be doing a lot of Pokemon content here. But Insurgents is going to be in a couple of months, I think, if I do it. The song's so good. The song does sound nice. Twice is honestly pretty good. I don't really listen to it on my own, but when I hear it when you guys request it, I'm like, yeah, it's not bad. You know, it is bad though. Taylor, he keeps dying. And it's frustrating. Oh, I'm such an idiot. I could literally get a bike, and I'm ignoring that fact. Twice is great. Bro, Twice is everywhere in Korea. You go to Korea, and it's just Twice everywhere. You know, one of the girls in Twice is like Japanese. I didn't know that until I went to Japan. And I taught English in Japan, for those that don't know, for like 2 years. And I photoshopped one of the girls from Twice into one of my pictures. And then I photoshopped Ariana Grande into the same picture. And I was like, guys, I have 2 girlfriends. And I swear to God, like half the kids were like, oh my God, sugoi. They're like, they legit thought my girlfriends were Ariana Grande and the girl from Twice. And the Photoshop wasn't even a good Photoshop. Yeah, Momo from Twice. And sometimes they would test me. They were like, yeah, do you know Momo? And I'd be like, they're like, you know Twice? And I'm like, yeah, T to T. I don't know what that is, but apparently they say T. What's Moser? I don't know. What is Moser? Is that a your nuts joke or something? Moser? Wakaranai, bro. Wakaranai. I need to add the bike. How do I add a bike? Let's go to settings. Is not the right place. Never go to settings. I gotta go to bag? Where's my goddamn bike? Oh, there it is. Oh, I could register. Hot slot key. Hot key. Wait, what the hell? Oh, that's sick. Oh, yeah, that's cool. I'm Russian. Oh, in Russian? Mosur? I don't know. What's Mosur? I've never heard that word, or I don't think I have. Momo is the best girl from Twice, in my respectful opinion. She must be good, because Cortez with the Psy. Oh, that's why you asked where Jessica is? If he's here. Yeah, that's why I picked Momo as my girlfriend, bro. Because she's queen. So many languages. We're so multicultural here. Head smash by Taylor. Taylor, you just keep dying. You're literally trash. You're falling behind the rest of the team. Mosur? Mosur? I don't know what that means in Russian. Yo, Mudshot, get out of here, bitch. I mean, Aaron. Wait, did you make the poll for Fall Guys? Because I didn't see anything pop up. If you did, my bad. If you didn't, then it's your bad. If you didn't, that's fine too. Let me see. Manage poll. View results. We had 5 people say yes. Oh. I didn't even realize it. My bad. Alright, we'll go to Fall Guys then. I forgot to vote in it. Lol. We'll go to Fall... Guys, boot up your Fall Guys, alright? So I don't need to wait for y'all. And add me as a friend if you want to play. We'll do squads. If we had 10 people say yes, then I would host a lobby, but this is my username. I like that. Yeah. I will jump on it. I think every time I play PokeMMO, I want to get at least 1 or 2 gym badges. And I got 2 today, so that's pretty okay. Or they all have extreme speed with that. Yes, get out of here. KK. Nice. The first 4 people that the first 3 people that say me in chat will be added to the first few rounds of games. You just gotta say me in chat right now and you'll be added. Okay, we got Cortez, we got Nathan, we don't have Doctor. I finally have a bike, which is nice. Oh, don't all answer at once, guys. All right, so we got Cortez and Nathan for now. Let me exit the game. I like this game. We gotta go games. All right, this is how quick I am, bro. Wait, what's the difference between this and this? What the hell? Come join the fun. Such a lame thing to say, but I'm saying it. What do you guys do? Playing with viewers. Jewish. You have PokeMMO now? Let's go. I was asking for my Steam account, bro. Sussy Baka. What's my password for Steam? I'm not that quick. Oh, I got the right password. I'll play. You have to say me. If you don't say me, you can't play. Where's the song? All right, so we got 3. We got Janelle, we got Nathan, and we got Cortez. And anyone else who wants to play, you can add me if I am not added. You're fine. I'm just trolling. All right, he said me. He's in. What is this song, bro? Oh, what the hell? It's kind of fire. The heck? Me minus M equals E. True. MC squared. That's kind of funny. Bro, this sounds like you're in the 80s or something. Would you Bro, I literally... Is this the new these nuts joke? I literally fell for this joke yesterday, okay? I'm not going to fall for it again. You got to be more original, all right? Oh, yeah, I know this song. Oh, there's so many variants of this song, huh? Interesting. I don't have you added, Janelle. What's your Janelle? What's your Janelle thing? Unoriginal jokes will be deleted. Fair. Honestly, fair. Also bad opians. Yeah. Never take opians, guys. Mine is... You're making me add you? I'm the stream... Yeah, let me type it in. Dnell9799. Bruh. Alright. I added you. Your crown rank and rank rewards are displayed here. So I have 7 supposed wins. I have a couple accounts though. All right, let me go show selector. We go to squad show because squad celebration is way too easy, and we're freaking good. Why is there 4 ads? So Twitch can make money. Wait, he doesn't hear me. He has 4 ads. So Twitch can make money. Bro, how long do we have to wait for this guy? Did you add me, Dino? That's so BS. That's, bro, that's literally the internet. You have free access to so many things because of ads. That's why YouTube is free. That's why Twitch is free. It's because they give you ads, bro. How do you delete a song? Exclamation point, wrong song. I keep forgetting he probably doesn't hear me. Scar. Can I add you to join? Yeah, you can add me, but you can't join right now because Dinel already oh, so it was that one. I don't know who I sent a friend request to. Wrong song. But you could still add me, and then like later on I could invite you. Why does the end of my Fall Guys character's whip look like that? Like two balls? I don't know. Doesn't look bad though. You don't see red balls too often, so. Alright, let me invite Dinel. Dineru, as they say in Japan. Actually, yeah, your name in Japanese would probably be Dineru. Then we got Barados. We got Chi. We got Pingu Pongu Masters. Okay, that's probably. They probably don't say that one. Hakyu Sensei. Mine? What? Yours what? If you want, I could go to a platform where you have to pay to watch me. You know they have those. There's like a couple of platforms where you have to pay to view. Like pay-per-view, but for streaming. I was like, damn, you need to have a huge audience and then like have a very loyal and I don't know, that's crazy. Mind if I lay these nuts on your face? You know, I'm not gonna lie. I figured you might come up with a joke, but I'm like, mine? That doesn't make sense. Like if you say E-lady or I-lady, you're asking a question. When you say mine, like no one asks that question. Like it doesn't make sense. Like here, this is a good one. Like, what's the evolution of Rhyhorn? And then the evolution is... Wait, guys, what's the evolution of Rhyhorn? And you face. Oh yeah, that's a good point too. I want to lead bad. Ride on these nuts. You see, like there, you're asking a question and you're getting a response. You know, when you just say, nice. It just froze. I hate this shit. What the hell, man? Nice. Nice, Fall Guys. Good shit. Nice. You just announced me. You respond. No, you respond so fast. Rhyperior. It doesn't work if you say Rhyperior. All right. They should allow you to join in mid-game if you screw up. I got DC'd, guys. I'll wait for y'all, though, because I'm a nice person. Nah, you got... Actually... Nah, I'll wait for you guys. It's okay. We're not doing solo. I got DC'd. My stupid cable is like having sex with my headset. Wait, give me this. Okay, it is no longer doing the sex. Oh, you left? Okay, you guys left. All right, Nathan, you could leave too. Everyone else left. What's my name in Japanese? What do you think your name is gonna be in Japanese? It's actually very easy. Yeah, let's go. Everyone's ready now. If you think you're sounding racist, you're probably still gonna get the name right. How do you make Z sound in Japanese? Pizza. It's like za. Like pizza is pizza. 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 Za. Za. Zaji. Damn, I forgot. Sashi suseso. Zaji zuzezo. Like that. Zaji. Ju or zu? Zaji zuzezo. Sashi suseso. Zaji zuzezo. Yeah. Zaji zuzezo. Zaboza. Nezuko. Yeah, Nezuko. Yeah, so there's basically. Ooh, this is catchy. There's basically okay, I'm not gonna lag out now. Nice. There's only one consonant in Japanese. Everything else is vowels. My name in Japanese, Chitoru. She becomes G. It becomes more G, not Jesus, get up. Not really G. It's not G, but yeah. Bro, this is easy. Oh, we're all actually doing pretty well. Unless you don't make that jump. Wait, is this solos? I thought, is that why you asked? Oh, I thought we were doing squads. My bad. Yeah, I think it would be Chitoru. I guess. Zaji Zuzezo. For some reason, the UI looked different. Yeah. I mean, you were right. Oh, I could view names by pressing L2. Let's go. 日本でのフェラはいくらですか? Fera? Oh. How much is a blowjob in Japan? I don't know, bro. Free if you do it right. I'm talking about Romaji spelling. Yeah, but Romaji is terrible. Because then when you say G, it's... people think it's G. I don't even know if that's even right. Like, how would you say G? Z-H-I maybe? I don't know. Literally made it as Chitoru. Yeah. Chitoru. Free forgiving? I don't know for yeah. Yeah, free forgiving. Receiving, it's it can be free. It can be free. There's only 20. Did everyone? Oh, everyone made it. Let's go. Look at these goddamn muscle. Wow, I didn't even jump and it made me jump. Wait, does L2 make you jump also? Oh, it just shows the people's names. Oh, that's cool. It shows if you're using controller or not. Oh, this is sick. Oh, it's not sick, but it's cool. You just don't do G. Yeah, like G sound, but that sounds so much better. Po-rail scrad. If you're in chat, just saying your name, so I know who you are before I add you. Thanks. Oh my god, people are... Alright, I qualified. Just send a... Oh, it was you. Oh, okay. I'll add you, Chi, after this game. I'm confused what you're saying. G is not G, not G. G is closer to G. Oh yeah, you're right. It is G. It was basically because Chi was saying she becomes G. But it doesn't. She... Sashi suseso. Zaji zuzezo. Yeah. I know what you're saying, but like the way you say G is not G. That's what makes it weird. Nathan's out. Aw. That sucks, bro. Yeah, we're gonna do team-based next. I don't know why I might have screwed up. You're getting hit with balls, don't you? Nice. I like this map. Actually, I hate it at the same time. Alright, where is the rest of y'all? Oh! That's Cortez, I think. Wait, Dinell, did you get out? Or did you leave? Go to shows and deselect solos. Ah, it was mixing both of them. I see. I think this should be fairly. You're out? Ah, gotcha. We'll continue if that's okay. And yeah, in Japanese, your name would be Neisan. Neisan. Yeah. Neisan-san. It's just Sashi Suseso. You don't say Zaji. You say Zaji. It's like Ji. Ji and Ji, like from Chi, it's also, they're very similar. From my understanding. I could be wrong, but I'm not. Boop, boop, boop. Damn, this song sounds intense. Yeah, it's fine. Alright, sounds a bit weird, but okay. Sashi Suseso. Yeah. But when you put the rendaku, I think it's called, it becomes Zaji Suseso. I mean, just think about it. Why would she go to G? I mean, that's not really, but they're basically the same. I think G is written as G, though. Yeah. It is. But it's just, Romaji is just terrible. And Romaji... Oh my god, why is my controller not working? Fucking hate this game. Oh my god. Nice. So stupid. I got them muscles. Well, that pissed me off, bro. Oh my god. I didn't jump. Why'd you jump, you stupid bot? Oh, if I don't qualify now, I'm actually gonna punch the wall. I'm still a goddamn god. Anyway. Romaji is just terrible. And Korean, it is the same. That makes sense. Yeah. When I tried to learn a bit of Korean, they're so similar. That's crazy, though. That is exactly the same. Why would foo be foo and the rest of those are H? Because it's not really foo. Ha he hu. It's like who. It's like foo, but it's who. It's like a mix between who and foo. Ha he hu he ho. Best way to win is to get hit with the hammer. Yeah, but I can't do that stuff. What a god. I know, right? The actual sound... Yeah, exactly. That's why I say Romaji is... Romanji. I thought it was Romaji. Romaji. It's not Romanji, is it? Maybe in English it's in Roman... Whatever. That's why I think it's, like, dumb. I think anyone trying to learn Japanese just gets... It's useless. It hurts you more than it helps you. Final round, let's go. I've never played this. What the hell? Avoid the falling floor and throw blast balls. What the hell is this? Because they forgot the N. It's Romaji. Don't blow me up. Yeah, it's Romaji, right? See, isn't it? I don't know. My point is, it's not as pure H as the others. You see, like, if you're learning Japanese as a Japanese person, you don't even think of F and H, right? Because you don't know what that is. It's kind of like that. It's kind of... I have no idea how this works. Oh, that's sick. Oh, that is actually so cool. Oh, I hit me too. No, they're gonna hit us. They're gonna hit us, bro. Oh, this is cool. I've never played this. Wait, I'm not gonna look at chat. This is too much. Yes, I hit someone. Oh, this is sick. Oh, Cortez is out. It's all on me. Oh, this is so cool. Get him. Ah, get out of here. Oh, ah! I was top 3. I'm gonna take it, bro. I was top 3. I was top 3. I was top 3. Can we get some applause for that? I was top 3. Like, not that bad. My point is not over age. You're right, Romaji. I don't know why I didn't realize that. I was like, Romanji? That sounds so off. Romaji is a bish. Thank you. Thank you, bro. Thank you. So close to winning, too. So close to winning. Oh, I love this song. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah. Let me first accept. Bro, I'm not gonna remember that you're Chi, to be honest. Your username in this game is so random. Alright, let's ready up. You have multiple shows though. Yeah, I fixed it. Choose the settings for your challenge run. Nuzlocke, randomized. What's PP challenge? That sounds perfect for me. Oh shit, that's so cool actually. That's pretty cool. For insurgents, yeah? PokeMMO. Yeah, accept your friend request. Am I that delayed, guys? Are you guys that delayed? Like, Nathan, ready up. I always thought it was Romanji because Roman characters. I guess I just never saw the N not being there. Yeah, Romanji. That just sounds so much harder to say. Romanji. Romaji. Yeah, because Roma is like Roman. I guess Roman, but pretty sure Roma is Rome. I don't remember. Bro, I forgot so much Japanese. Nathan, you gotta ready up. Romani. Yeah, Roma is Rome. Or Romani, like Rome people? I don't know. Roma. It stands for Roma. The people. Bro, I don't know what that is in English, bro. Whatever. I was you can't use Pokemon Center to recover. Oh, that's cool actually. Nathan, you have 10 seconds or you're getting booted out and Chi will be invited. She is not a he, do you know? In Australia, the signs have to go through an upside down converter. Signs. Oh, that makes sense though. I won't always stay. Awkward. Sorry, I created an awkward atmosphere. Mate is not a he. Oh yeah, when I say Chi, guys, that refers to mate rules. Mate, Chi, you go by they, right? Or I don't know if you're okay with she also, but Nathan, you're AFK. You're out. I'm sorry. Oh, I can kick you guys out. Oh. Or I guess I have to leave. All right, I left. I'll invite y'all. We got Cortez, Dineru, and Chi. Anyone else wants to join, just let me know. And you'll have a spot in the future. She, her, but okay with they, them. Oh, okay. I thought you preferred they, them. Now I know. We're all here, baby. Let's go. Oh, your name backwards is Dark Slayer. Dark Slayer OP. Dark Slayer OP. I see that. I see that. All right. I think it's in squads now. Ready up, guys. The more we know. Yeah. That's okay. Make a mistake, you learn, and that's it. That's life. Bro, why do you guys have such cool skins? Actually, my skin looks okay. Dark Slayer OP was a different account. This used to be an alt. I was thinking of Dark Slayer, who's a viewer. I think we had a Dark Slayer as a viewer before, right? Darkness is a viewer, but I think Dark Slayer was on. You could get my skin from Prime Gaming Loot. Oh. I forgot Prime matched up with them. Yo, Fall Guys is mad smart. Whoever made them, like they matched up with so many different like types of games and stuff. No, I never called Chi a he or him. Like never. Because usually when a person first comes into chat, especially if they stick around, I ask questions so I know. And then I just remember because I have an amazing memory. So, yeah. I'm very conscious of like who's in my chat. Usually. Mate rules likes going by Chi from my understanding, right? Stood it. Actually don't know. I don't know if that's your real. I don't know what if that is your real name or if that is your real name. I just don't ask because I don't ask. Let's go. Yo, let's go, baby. I'm the second one to... Let's go, baby. I'm surprised I did better than Cortez. All right, let's see. We see Cortez here attempting to make the jump. He goes and... Oh, I have to change my camera position for this game. I have completely forgotten about that. Oh my god, stop. Go to OBS. Stop. Okay. What's going on? Okay, there we go. Put my face here. So we can see who qualifies. Isn't that better? I'm such a genius sometimes. That's your online name, yeah. Yeah, I had to kick you out because you were gone for so long. It's okay, Nathan. Everybody, put your hands up. Bro, Nathan, you missed it. I was like 3rd place. I almost won. Me online and me online are kind of split from each other. What? Me online and me online. They're two different things. I got what you're saying, though. You offline and you online, right? My ice cream is here. Ah! I want ice cream now, bro. I ate food today, which was nice. Bro, it's one of my I tutored in Japan on the side, and it's one of my students' birthday today, so I was like, happy birthday. And then I said to his mom, I was like, oh, tell him I said happy birthday. And she's like, he fell out the window. I was like, what? She's like, he just fell out the window, the 2nd floor window. I was like, what the hell? And then she showed me a picture and she's like, but he's okay. Miraculously, he's okay. And I was like, Jesus Christ. Bro, that's like a story that you're going to say when you're older, you know? I mean, if he doesn't fall out again, you know? Like, I don't know. Oh! Nice. He's like a little kid, you know? I just got gold twice, guys. Am I not a beast, guys? Like, this is my level. I'm so good with the timing. Ah! That was bad. You luck because your AC works. I'm lucky because my AC works. That is true. Your ice cream's probably gonna get soggy. Come on, guys. We're better than this. I got 2 golds and a silver. Come on, guys. You got this. I thought it was gonna be more darker. You thought what was gonna be dark? Ah! What was gonna be darker? Get up, you idiot! Bro, alright, I'm actually playing like shit now. You guys gotta carry. Why does it get... Do they make it faster? Why does it get harder? That's what she said? I don't know. How do we qualify? We had 58 points. I still don't get how this shit works. The story you just said? Oh, you thought it was gonna be darker? No, thank God it wasn't. Yeah. That would be really, really sad. I'm happy he's okay. Like they're such a like wholesome family. One of their children is in Ohio now. Like I don't know. I respect a lot of Japanese people who push their kids to learn English. Because, like, it's hard when 98% of your population is Japanese, but, like, if you want more options in life, like, you have to learn English. So the families that decide to put their kids through, like, English learning stuff when they're younger, it's like, it's such a boost for them in society when they're gonna get older. Ohio doesn't exist. True. Oh, hi, yo. True. Ohayou gozaimasu. 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 That means good morning. I think I might take out the timer for the rules. Ohio sucks. Ohio's alright. Why am I saying Ohio's alright? I don't know anything about Ohio. Except I know one person from there. And they're pretty trash, so yeah. I'm just joking. Yo, we're killing it. None of us are. Oh, I have no idea how I survived that. We are killing it, baby. Come on, there's just 2 of us left. We're getting good score. We're surviving, baby. We're 4th place. Oh shit, we gotta be top 3. We're surviving. These squads gotta get out of here, bro. They're getting too many points. No, you fell. That's alright. It's alright, Cortez. I got this for us. Ah! Bro, what is that bullshit? You're still in it for now. No, we're not. It literally shows an exclamation point that shows we're not. I just needed to jump like 1 more time. Oh my. Wait, they're not getting points. Wait, I'm so confused. Are we still in it, guys? Or should I leave? It's okay, Chi. Being really shit talking Liam and BK. Are they from Ohio? I didn't know that. We are still in? Oh, hell yeah. I feel like it's so... They don't do it. Like, it's very confusing the way they do it. Hell yeah, baby. We're still in. We're still in. Don't leave. Scott the World would be from Ohio if it existed. Why does Scott the World sound familiar? Bro, it's crazy how a 24-hour stream could make you better in a game. Like, it made me so much better. Scott the Woes? I don't know what that is. Is that an Australian thing? I don't know. I'm sorry. PP, I feel my skin burning. What do I do? You rip off your skin. No, I'm joking. Don't do that. Take a fan. Fan yourself. Or get a fan and put it in front of your face. Because if your skin's burning, that does not sound good. Liam and BK are from Ohio. Is that actually true? If that's true, I'll try to remember that. Especially for BK. I don't really know Liam at all, but... Oh, he's a YouTuber. Oh, this one's actually pretty hard. Just like life. Life is hard. No! No! I'm a failure. Yes, I got a point for us. I'm a god. No! Move! God damn. This game is hard. Ow. Bro, we do not have enough points, guys. How do I Oh, I'm still okay. Yeah, get out of here, you loser. Oh no, we're doing so bad. We need to get golds. I got this one. I got a gold. I got a gold, baby. I got a gold. To open up so I don't learn to. Let's just try not to go for the same ones. Oh, we haven't been doing that, I feel. Oh, we got 20. We got 20. Your fan is broken? Oh, shit, that sucks. Oh! 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 No! I'm an idiot! I was so impatient. Oh, we qualified. Whew. I don't know how we qualified, but good shit, guys. You got the last gold? Hell yeah, Chi. Let's go. Start up right. Wait, oh, this one is annoying, but wait. Oh, yeah, this is the basketball. I've never seen this as a final round. Excuse me. But I guess it's because it's with how do you do this with? Oh, it's 2 teams. We got this. We got this. Nathan, fan yourself with your hand. I don't know what to tell you, bro. How hot is it that your skin is burning? Like, is it actually that hot? That sounds pretty intense. We got this for sure. You'll defend? Okay.
EP say womp womp womp
What?
womp.
Oh, I'm
womp,
going the right
womp,
way.
Womp
Okay.
womp.
Wait, what the hell? You have to go on the air thing to get a point? I got... No, this is so hard. Oh, you could just jump and get it? I got one. How did I miss? I suck ass. Oh. Okay. Too much? Too much? Where the hell did that go? This is actually mad hard. Get out of here, Halo. Go get it, whoever that is. Oh, that's Chi. Nah! Nah! Guys, defend! Where's our defender? I thought you were defending! I thought what you said you were defending, you weren't there, bro! Oh. It's okay. Hey, good oh, never mind. Good blocking though. Nice. Okay, good try. Oh, sorry. Hold them. Nice. Oh, I just did a 360. Bro, I missed so many shots. Okay, you get it. I'm missing all the shots. You get it. No. Womp. Maybe I should have defended too. I think next time if we have that game, I think I should defend. Not saying I'm a good defender, but I don't know if I am, but I'm a terrible... I had like... Yeah, I couldn't score. Yeah, I couldn't score, personally. I had like 5 shots and I missed all of them. I haven't played that game enough. Yeah, I almost scored also like twice. Okay, we're really close. Guys, I got a pee-pee. Should I hold it in or should I go? Should I hold or should I go? Change the show. Why? Hold to go. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Sorry guys, I'm gonna pee. I definitely gonna go pee after that hydrate. This is a more fun show. All right, let me know which one it is. I'm guessing you mean Scott's. Squad celebration was too easy. We did that yesterday. That's the only other option. All right, I'll be back. Oh my god. Oh, that was so cool, bro. What the hell? An ad. Oh my god, someone clipped that. That was freaking beautiful. What the? Tyler, did you die when I said don't die, bro?
Nah, dude. Nah, there was a guy sniping on the footstool or on the steps, and
Sounds like you died.
and then as I was trying to like jump over it.
Oh, right there.
Damn, bro.
Did he get trick shotted? Oh, you gotta run over? You're racist? Yes! No! Yes! Not to the racist part. to what happened in the game. Oh, never mind. You didn't even fix the ball spot? Bro, is it actually... What the hell? Oh, this is not good, bro. Bro, that is not good. That is not good. Bro, I'm 25, bro. Like, my dad is bald. Like, it works by injecting child cum and child blood. So this should be fine. Alright. This is so hard. This is gonna be full of spelling errors. I know, right? Not me, though, because I was a former English teacher in Japan for 2 years. But, you know, whatever. You know, it's fine. You know, you guys will probably screw it up. This is a good song, though. I like this song. That was a lot of... Tell me you love me. A lot of pee-pee, bro. Oh my god, young pee-pee. I know, right? I feel like I'm older pee-pee now. Yeah, Squad Celebration isn't that good, so sorry. Anyone know what human flesh tastes like? Of course. I don't know, actually. It tastes yum, yeah. Balding ping. Die ping. Yeah, I miss die ping. The baby ping. Ooh. Chi, you're on the leaderboard. You gotta remember, if you're not a bot, you're gonna be on the leaderboard. Like, there are so many bots, bro. I tried to delete all the bots, and they just keep coming. I don't know how. Some of them I think are because like Streamlabs I need for the stream to work, stuff like that. But it's like bacon, Chi. Was that? Is that what bacon tastes like? I don't remember how the song goes. Doctor ain't on it anymore. Bro, Doctor ain't about the Pokemon life. Doctor. Alright, Doctor's trying to Mario Kart his way to victory. Oh! Alright, let's not kill each other. Ow. You Someone pushed me up. There was way too many people, man. Alright, let's go. Let's go. Who's this? Yo, me and Chi. We be going. We be burning out concerning what nobody wanna say. Alright, nice jump. Nice jump. Who's up ahead? Hopefully everyone else. Oh, wee. That was so risky. I don't know how I made that. Jump, you idiot! Well, okay. Get up. Bro, what? That's so stupid. Like, come on. Alright, be smart. Smart. I'm playing like an idiot. Am I missing this so often? Stop hitting me, you stupid... I don't even know what fruit that is. Ah! What? How did that not hit? Actually trash at video games, bro. Oh my... You got DC'd? Oh my god, that sucks. That was actually mad cool. That was actually sexy. I am a goddamn god. That was so good. No. We somehow qualified there. Chi, you want us to leave for you? Nice. DC comment. True, Janelle. True. You don't mind? Alright. We'll win this one for you since you got DC'd. If we don't win, I will commit seppuku. Or maybe someone in chat will. Just don't do it, or if you do it, like, keep the computer on so I could always have a viewer if you do that, so, yeah. I'll ban ping if we lose. I read that as I'll bang ping if we lose. You could do either. If they don't win, PP goes bald. No, then then we definitely won't win on purpose. Someone pushed me, you fascist. Yes, it's okay though, I'm a god. I waited! And I still got hit, because I suck. Move! Oh, God. Don't get hit. No, someone hit! Oh, I hate this game. This is reminding me of all my freaking pain from this stupid-ass game. I actually hate this game. How? Then don't tell us before doing it, because we'll be... Yeah, true. I'm gonna take this middle shit. That is so much easier. I used to love this one. I used to be good in this one. See, look at that. Because I know music. I'm a musician, okay? Wow, I'm actually an idiot. Let's go. Get up. Get up! Get up! Oh my, you loser, bro. There we go. I'm a pro player. There's only 20 seconds left, bro. Oh my god. Oh! Oh, you guys are already qualified. Oh, you guys are beasts. Good job, man. Good job, guys. Real though, when you getting bald? I was gonna do it during the subathon. I need to get a part-time job. Then making plans for cooler streams comes much easier after I know that after I know that money's coming in, so. But then I guess if I have a part-time job, doing a subathon would be harder. Because I would have to do the part. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know when I'm going bald. TBH. Maybe next year. I can't tell you. I will tell you that the goal by July 2023, someone exclamation point goal. How did I avoid? Oh, when I beat Bosa? Yeah, that was awesome. You can call in sick while you stream. If the subathon goes for a long time, though, I don't... Goal, not gold. But, yeah. And stream there. I should have specified, but it's okay. Nathan, how are you feeling without AC now? It just reminded me to put on my AC. Yes. Nice goal, right? Wouldn't that be awesome? It would just be such cool content for you guys. And it would be, like, awesome for me to be back in Japan. Like, making cool content is one of the awesome things about streaming. It's hard to make the best content when you don't have as much time to make it. Yes, I'm a beast. I'm a goddamn beast. I'm a beast. I'm a beast. I'm a beast. I'm a beast. I don't think I've even ever done this before. Or maybe I did it once yesterday. I don't know. Jesus, this is insane. What the hell? Oh, that wasn't bad. Why do you turn around, bro? Get up. I got an ice bag. And you put it on you? Okay, that's good. Ah! Why'd I do that? Why'd I do that? I know why, because I've never done this shit before. I don't know how to do it, bro. Yes. Yes. I got 18 points for us, guys. Last person. You got this, Dino. You got this. BRB for next round. All right. Come on, bro. Make sure that we get that non-disqualifying place. Good shit, bro. Let's go. That was terrible, but that was actually really bad. What? Oh, okay. Good job. People can go to YellowTube to go to the end. Yeah, I just saw that now. Don't be sorry we qualified, and if we didn't, that would be fine too, bro. It's just the game, bro. To light Stony. It was just funny because I was like, oh, he's about to jump. He's about to make it. And it didn't do anything. That was just funny. It's okay, bro. It's okay. We're about to win, bro. Team spirit. She, are you back? Is she back? We win in this for Chi, exactly. We win in this for Chi, exactly. Bars. PP spirit over here. Ooh, block party. I used to love this one and hate it at the same time. Let's go. Ba-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da. She, please be... Oh, wait. She is disqualified. I'm so dumb. I thought she was here for a second. I was like, oh, I'm so stupid. Okay. We're winning this for Chi because Chi disqualified. Got DC'd. We win in this for Chi because Chi got DC'd. Bars. Bars. I've been listening to Harry Mack on YouTube, a freestyle rapper. And now it just made me realize how much of a rapper I am. How do we have less points than people? Oh, because we're only 3 people. No, this is such an unfair game. Oh, not unfair, but that sucks, bro. We're getting less points because we have one less of a team. We got to push someone off or we're going to lose, I think, guys. I think we gotta work on pushing people off. Come on, they're not falling. One person fell from one team. I mean, there's 40 seconds left. We just gotta play smart. Why'd the music stop? Oh, it's intense. That's why. The music stopped because it's more intense now. Oh, no. Oh, no. Come on, guys. Good job. No. You're good. You guys are good. Oh, we're playing so well. That's such a shame. Get up. Get up. We're all alive. Good stuff, guys. Good job trying to push people, Cortez. I see that. I see that. Good moves. Good looks. Good looks. Good licks. I don't know. Oh, you just fell, didn't you? Yeah, you just fell. Damn. Oh, this song is blocked from YouTube. Okay, that's why. For next game, can't come back due to that DC. That sucks. I'm going to my first expo. Nice. Wait, what do you mean? Like anime expo? What type of expo? I've gone to an anime expo. I don't know if it was an expo, actually. It's fun, if it is what I think it is. 3 is dumb. They should, if someone DCs, they should make it split by 3 people. But then I guess, yeah, no, they should do that. Oh, babe. We're not in, right? I shouldn't be here, right? I like this game, too. Anime Expo? Oh, you're going to have a lot of fun, I think. You're going to see people that love anime. You're going to see art by people making art anime. They can make art for you. You're going to see, like, figurines, clothes, maybe some people from different animes coming up and talking. Like, people that dub different anime. Like, when I went to one, the person who, the voice actor for Haikyuu, was there, but it was the dubbed one, so I didn't care. It wasn't like the Japanese person. It was like the American or whatever. Wait, how do we have 4 people? Gee, I thought you wouldn't be able to play, you said. Next game can't come. Oh, you're saying can't come, but oh, I see what you mean now. I'm dumb. All right. Let's ready up. Minya mala mala mala. Are you trying to learn Russian? I'm going to be the tallest one, most likely. Yeah. Are you dressing up? Sometimes people dress up for it. It was the dub one, so I didn't care. It's fact. Me and my friends, we both love Haikyuu. We're both like awesome Haikyuu, big Haikyuu fans. And we both were like, ugh, this sucks. People were asking such dumb questions to them too. It was just whatever. You are dressing up? What are you dressing up as? Oh, I think you mentioned dressing. Oh, is it like with the sword and stuff? By the way, I saw the picture of the sword that you sent me, that you have. It looks mad cool. Danium. I've never played this one. Oh no, I have. I played it yesterday. Oh, there's a stadium in the background. I didn't realize that. Titanium. You are dressing as like a samurai? That's sick, bro. Specifically like Zoro or something, or it's annoying. Yeah. DCing is definitely annoying. From now on, if someone DCs in the first round, I think we'll just leave. So they don't have to wait that long. If someone DCs in the second round, I think it's okay. I don't know. We'll just see how it happens, I suppose. Woo! Is the katana cool? Yeah, the katana is sick, bro. It's really cool. If you run into people, it takes out your speed. This is such an interesting map. And frustratingly annoying at the same time. Because it's Fall Guys. You should send a picture of the katana on the Discord. Under like images or whatever. Yo, I got 36 points for us. Let's go. Oh, I was the third one to qualify. Cortez was last. Wow. Best part is it's real. Oh yeah, I don't know if you'll be able to take a real sword into the venue. You might have to deal with that. You were the first one to cross. Let's go. Nice. We see Brock Ziggler. That's kind of a weird name. Pushing towards the end, but getting very flustered, appearing to be an old grandma playing the game. As Brock Ziggler charges towards the... Okay, it ended. You were last? No, I was third. I wasn't last. Cortez was last. Check the VOD! You know, it's fine. It's fine if Cortez was last. Like, I know I have to carry us. Yeah, I didn't play that well there, I guess. I felt like I did good, though. You guys are just awesome. You're good? Oh, you checked in on that? All right. This song sounds cool. What is this? Glitch Hop. Oh, it's Monster Cat. I like this. Oh, I want to add this to my Spotify. I forgot to add what you guys showed me also. But I made a note to add it. I'm gonna add it right now. It's too much bleh. Bleh. And it doesn't show on Spotify. Whatever. Bah. Bah. Sounds nice though. Does bouncing actually help for that? I never actually tried to bounce on this map to try to get ahead. Let's go. I don't know how I made that. Bro, this is reminding me of 24-hour streams. Wait, you could bounce all the way across? This is sick. I don't think I've ever done that. Is it faster? It feels like it takes longer. I have no idea though. I wonder. Oh, this is not an instrumental? Interesting. Get up. Oh, these balls, bro. We got this, we got this. Damn, you guys are beasting. Who's last? Who's last? Let's go, Chi, let's go. Oh, damn, we're killing it. We're third. You guys are on a roll. We're second. We're on a roll today, baby. Let's go. You've never had this map layout? Really? All right, Streamlabs, you're talking about the rules way too much, okay? We're not even doing the Nuzlocke, okay? You gotta chill. And we're not doing a Nuzlocke right now. You gotta chill. You gotta chill so much, I'm gonna block your ass. No, I'm not gonna block you, but I'm gonna turn off that timer. If people want to know the rules, they could exclamation point timer, right? I mean, rule, Nuzlocke. I am turning that off. Please ban Streamlabs. I know, they're not a good person, right? I need Streamlabs. Streamlabs is the reason why you could do exclamation point anything. I can't ban it. But it's kind of an ass sometimes. Yeah. They annoy you. Fair. Streamlabs. It's actually an it. Because it's a machine. But yeah. It teases you. Well, just don't say FU Streamlabs and you'll be fine. But I guess if you say hey, then it gets mad. Yeah, it's kind of... Well, that's Stream Elements. Stream Elements is a bit of an ass also. See, like, Streamlabs... Yeah, oh no, wait, Streamlabs is okay, actually. Stream Elements is the asshole. I forgot myself, too. There's some secret stuff that Stream Elements wants to share sometimes, but it doesn't share because no one has, you know, said the target stuff, words. Which is fine, you know. You can show them Katana to them if you want. Alright. I'll show them then. After we win! Because we're about to win. I like going against the grain because I like being different. I'm like... Actually, I don't know why, but I always love running the other way! Someone pushed me! I died. I'm sorry, guys. Come on, guys. You guys got this. You guys just do not look it up. You all just need to survive. Nice job. Oh, I forgot how heavy this song goes, bro. You guys are gods! Oh my god! Hell yeah! Hell yeah! Okay, Dinel's out. It's okay, it's okay. We made third somehow. Ooh, that was close. Oh, we only got one person. Oh, we're still in. We just need that one person to fall. If they got one more point. Oh, we just got it! Oh my god, we barely qualified! Literally, if an extra second passed. Go against the grain? Yeah. That is what I meant. Third. Easy, baby. Easy. It's okay, I messed up the most. It says, yeah, I know. We were third, but someone else was getting points after everyone died on our team. So we were third, but someone was fourth, and fourth is, you can't qualify in fourth. They were like 3 or 4 points off from beating us. And then the round ended. Because they were still in the game. So we got very lucky there. Yes, cause it said top 4 qualify. But the exclamation point was on 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or whatever. The exclamation point wasn't on Please tell me I got both of those. Let's go. Not this one. Yeah, this one's a bit tricky. God. It's beautiful. Я скажу тебе. Gold. Yes, let's go, baby. I got a gold. I didn't realize fourth would. Oh, thanks for that help. Okay, we only need a few more. Oh, you get that. All right, good job. Good job. We got it. All right. Damn it. Nada. Oh, let me get it. Oh, I don't know if I got it. Damn it. I'm up. Oh, good job, guys. I got a gold, so I helped out. That's all I know. Got gold to win. Again? Jeez, let's go. Hell yeah. GG, we're about to win the whole game. I haven't seen my family the whole day and barely saw them yesterday. And I should be doing the job applications. So let's win this game. And then I think we'll call it a night. I can't lose. Let's go. We won't lose. I did get energy because of you guys, though. And because of the game, so thank you. Bosa is playing RuneScape. Oh, we're actually going to raid him. I haven't talked to him in a while. And he's playing RuneScape. I love RuneScape. My childhood. No. Unplug. That thing is being weird. Stop! Why does it get tangled up so much? Okay, should be good. Should be good. Oh, all right. Redemption. You're right. Redemption. This is our redemption arc. This is. We lost 10 games in a row, and now we're back versing the people that talked shit about us in that one anime. All right, we gotta win. Good. Go for that ball. Go for that ball. Oh, I've been an idiot. Nice. Guys, I need help. If that he made that. This game is so shit, bro. Bro, I need someone else helping me defend. I'm too shit. There's 2 people going for me. Yes! Alright. I'm doing good on the defense. Oh, there's 2 people I need help. Does the gold one give you more points? Shit. No! Yes. Get out of here. Bro, I can't. There's 2 people. What are you guys doing? Get some goals in. We're so bad at this. Guys, you need to make ball. There's 3 guys here. You guys should be making ball after ball. It's 1v3. But guys, what are you doing? What are you guys doing? Oh. Ah! Why do I look the other way? Where'd it go? Don't tell me when it... This game is so shit, bro. Nah, we're playing till we win, bro. What is this? We're playing again. Let's go, guys. You don't know how to make a goal? It's hard, right? I don't know. People just jump into it. I don't know how they do it. I'm switching to Xbox now that I got DC'd again. We got DC'd again? Alright. Do samurai wear kimono? I always get confused with that. I think so. Oh, yo. See my mama, yo, 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 yo. See my mama, yo. See my yo, bum, 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 chim. See, ba, ba, yeah, ba, yeah, ba, yeah, yeah, no. Yeah, they do. Roll onto me each and every day. Being close to you, yes, I'm so hungry. This is the sword, by the way, guys. Look at the sword Nathan has. Isn't that crazy? That's sick. That's the sword you have, right? Place one and place right, and I believe Hashem's place right, and I believe. A throw into backboard. Yeah, throwing into backboard is hard though. Please reinvite. I got you. Oh, you're ready on Xbox? That's fast. Zoom in. Oh, you wanted me to zoom into it? Wait, I'm too lazy now. I'm sorry. Sumimasen. Essence of my being and essence of my God. I want Mashiach now. Why never feel your soul? It has writing on it. Oh, that's why. Okay, let me zoom in. Oh, I cannot read that, bro. That's all Chinese characters, I think. I don't know how to zoom into that. Luciano, throw your rope. Oh, I see. I'm in the ground and on his crown. Yeah, that looks like Chinese. Right, guys? That looks like Chinese. Or maybe it's like, you know, Chinese characters, but it's Japanese. But, yeah, I don't know. So on one night, sunlight in my way. Leping, what's up, Jessique? Fire can't blaze, what's this feeling? I wanna type a hole in the ceiling. She, whenever you're ready. How was the gym, bro? What's this feeling? I wanna type a skyline in the ceiling. Get myself to you from the essence of my being and an essence to my God. This used to be my favorite band when I was a kid. Or favorite artist. It's going good. It's going well. Stream started off a bit slow. I was a bit tired, low energy, but I'm feeling good now. We will be ending probably kind of soon. And then raiding into Bosa if he's still alive. But yeah. Sorry, I thought I did already. No worries. Yo. Hola, Yesek. Hola. ¿Cómo estás? Someone who used to be my crush was there. It's been 3 years. Bro, everyone used to be your crush, bro. Did you say hi? Again, it's I like track attack though. It's new to me, so I don't mind it personally. Yeah. What's this feeling? I wanna rip a hole in the ceiling. Wee! Oh, this is sick. Oh, this is sick. Oh, this is so cool. Hey, people hitting you just takes out the momentum on this map. It's so frustrating. Oh my God. Especially when you're like making mad good jumps, you know? It's because so many people take the same route to get the speed boost. At the end of the day, it's not really worth it. I don't, well, I shouldn't say that, but I don't know if it's worth it. I think I should have gone on the other side. I mean, you guys are killing it. Did someone DC? Because it looked like we had 3 people and now it's, oh no. I'm just so good that I made it. Let's go, Dino! I was surprised. No, we've never talked. Bro, you legit got a crush on like half the world, bro. You gotta have less crushes. I don't know. Actually, not. You do you. But if I were you, I would have less crushes. Given me night. Yeah. Can we get a map that we haven't gotten yet? That's what I'm saying. Jessica has so many crushes. Like, I could count on my... Message deleted. I could count on my hand. Probably on one hand. Nah. Maybe on 2 hands how many crushes I had. Like, that's just crazy, bro. Give me the night. All night. But maybe I don't know. Maybe most people have a lot of credit. I don't know. Message daddy dead. Bro, Dinell and Doctor, after being in Jimmy's chat, just really just want to ban and time out everyone. Like, just chill, have a good time, bruh. Chill in the stream, enjoy yourself. I haven't had a crush in years. Yeah. Kind of the same. I kind of made a crush for myself in Japan. Nah, she was really cool. But, yeah. But she didn't see me the way that I saw her. She liked British voice accents. So terrible. How did I miss it? Oh, no. Oh, you guys are killing it, though. I wonder... Oh, you can't really use the ball to go forward, huh? You have 5 current crushes, right? 5 is like all my crushes ever, probably. Paradise.
Monkey do good. Monkey
Thank
do
you.
very good.
I try. Yo, what's up, Chris? I had a lot, to be honest, but I'm loyal to them. How could you be loyal to 10 different crush? What does that mean? EB, Jimmy did something to them, so I'm going in there. I don't know what that means, but okay. I can count on Earth's how many crushes I've had. 0. Yo, you tell me, bro. I need to get a job already. There's a bunch of applications I have to go through. I was just kind of not feeling it. I was working on a YouTube video instead today. But, you know, if I go through all those applications, because they keep emailing me also, then I think by the end of the week, I want to have a job. Because I want the first paycheck to come in before next month. We time out our friends more than anything. That's the beautiful thing. Doctor and I don't ban anyone, though. All right, bro. All right. How are you doing, Chris? Use the drums. How was work, bro? How was programming? Me and Jessica be like yin and yang. That's nice. There's no way they'll get to know each other. Oh, I see what you mean. What if they did? What would you do if, like, you had a crush and they got to know another one of your crushes and they had a crush and another crush? Bro, what is this bullshit? Someone pushed me. I hate this game. People could just push you. And then you're just screwed. But we're okay now. Oh, wow, they're moving. So difficult. I'm not a noob. Get up. Out. Don't hit me, teammate, please. I've never done this before, though. This is pretty cool. Wait, there's more? How does this work, bro? Like, bro, I swear to God, I'm gonna kill someone. I've never done this shit. This is so annoying. Get up. Get up. Why are you sitting? This is a competition, you idiot. Oh, now you make it. Oh, if I missed that, bro, I would have shut off the game. How the hell does this work? Oh. 2 of you guys made it. Good job. Oh, we're somehow 7th. Oh, a lot of people didn't make. Oh. Bro, what is this shit? This is such a stupid level. I've never played it before. It's not fair. Like, oh my God, bro. Side route safer. I tried the side route before I died. First, good shit, Cortez, man. Good to all of you guys did good. You're doing good. Everyone's watching Stranger Things. Oh yeah, you mentioned that earlier too, right? I think I missed the message. My bad. Are you saying that because I'm not a mod? No, lots of girls in my school like me, and also the mod. That's funny. I remember one of my girls told me he liked the girls, so I knew it was time to move on. Damn. Bro, you suck? I do suck. It was my first time playing this one. I actually really enjoy it. It was just my first time, you know? My first time. My ex-crushers got to meet each other on my birthday. That's funny. You dummy. It's so funny. Like, everyone has a crack catchphrase. Like, Chris says, "You suck." Dinelle says, "You dummy." Like, I could hear it in my head. I tried center, died, did side. I did the opposite. I've never cared for Stranger Things. Same. Yeah, we had some Psy here earlier, actually, with Cortez. Stranger Things is overhyped. It seems overhyped to me as well, yeah. But to be honest, I only watched, like, nice. Only, like, one episode. I only call you a dumb ass. What? 30. 40. 50. Ooh. Ooh. Don't fall. Don't fall, bro. Yo, this sounds mad good, bro. What? Ah! Giga? Hey, no cursing in this chat, bro. Come on, guys. All right. So much concentration. I literally just need to stand here. Don't. What are you doing? Stupid. Don't do that. We're on the same team. One of us fell. Oh, we're in first place. That's why you're doing it. Hey, random person. What's up? Oh my. Who is this? Dinelle, of course. Why'd I even check? I knew it would have been Dinelle. At least push the other people, bro. Ah! Ah! Nice. Good shit, Dinelle. If we lose, it's your fault, but we didn't. Because we're amazing. We got first. Good job, guys. That's his latest hit. Can you feel it? I can't feel it. I like it. How you doing, person? How can you eat Stranger Things? Stranger Things is a movie. Did I say that? When you say that, Gene, I hear an anime voice. We did qualify easy. We did still get first. Maybe should watch the music video. Should, I guess. I'm doing well. How about you? I'm doing pretty good. Whoa. You can't say that in chat. Come on. I'm doing good. I'm friend and thing. I'm glad you enjoyed. I'm doing good. We started stream. I was a bit low energy, but you guys bring energy out of me and this game. So I am very good. Oh, calculicious. Guys, let's push. Let's make sure yellow does. No, guys, you're supposed to push it into ours, not into theirs. What are you guys doing? I'm playing with noobs. Oh. I meant, like, let's make sure yellow doesn't win by taking their balls, but you know, it's fine. How can I join? Bro, what are you guys doing? All right, let's just work on blue. I guess. They have 5 balls, bro. Oh no, we already worked on yellow. Let's just get yellow out of here. Add me as a friend, and then I can invite you next game. But this is probably gonna be the last game. Sorry. It won't be the last time we play it though. Unless we lose, then it won't be the last game. But I don't want us to lose. Come on, guys. You guys are really good at every other game except this one. But yeah. Oh my god. Yes. Yes. Okay, good shit. I'm protecting. I protect. Let's go. Oh! I got yellow. I got yellow's side. I got yellow. Let's go. I got yellow. Let's go! Get out of here, yellow. You suck buttholes. I'm such a beast! No, I messed up. That was bad. It's okay. Yellow has none. Someone protects from our side. Someone protects from blue side. Oh no, you guys are just killing it. Good shit, guys. Good job. Do what you want. Say what you want. Is that how it goes? You guys redeemed. We all redeemed each other. Every time. Wait, did someone actually request this? I love this song. Or is this my background? Oh, it's my background thing. Yeah, so this is my username, my Epic's game username. Last is gone in my life. I must have done. Isn't that the way everybody to life and play? I forgot the words. No, wait, is this the only game for teams? Like, what the hell, guys? We gotta redeem ourselves this time. I don't know, man. Dry lemon, I got you. I got you, random. Nice teamwork, Dinell. What the hell? Oh, I got hit. Have my lives in books, written pages. Okay, this team sucks. They only have one guy going for the ball. Or you guys are beasts. And making them... You know. Yeah, I think you guys are beasting. Ooh, we're gonna win! Let's go. Last game and we win. I'm sorry, random, for the bad time. For the bad timing. To sing for the tear. No, sorry. Where'd it go? Hey, good shit. Okay, I'm going offense. I'm going offense, guys. You guys defend. I'll go offend. Offense. Oh! Let's go! I finally got a score. Let's go. Damn, how do you tap me like that, bro? Is the gold one worth more points? Guys, we need to defend. They're pushing hard. Let's go, baby! Let's go! Hell yeah. Easy clap. Whew. Yeah, I apologize, random. I'll add you so we can play next time. That was the last game. We finally redeemed ourselves. Feels good, man. And we will raid. I will be back on... guys, even if you want to leave, just join in for the raid. If you know, if that's okay, so that we could, you know, give him a bit more support. He's pretty awesome. He's a cool streamer. Womp, womp, womp. Yo, I got you with the womps. Watch this. No, I skipped the song. I'm so stupid. I skipped the song instead of the TTS. Oh my god. Okay. Womp, womp, womp. I'm just gonna run the credits here, okay? Today we did have a new follower. Thank you, Skittle, for following. We also had a sub. Thank you, Chris, for the sub. And thanks, everyone, for popping in. Yeah. Do exclamation point. Yeah, thank you, Doctor. We're going to raid into Bosa. Awesome guy. He has cool alerts. Yeah, he's not there. He's not. Guys, he's not there. Alright, we're not gonna raid into anyone, I guess. We're gonna end stream. No raid, sorry. You got up someplace? Nice. Have a good night. Thank you. I want everyone to have an awesome night. Okay? Thanks for coming in. And I'll see you guys Monday for some Pokemon and maybe some community games and stuff later as well. So, have a great night. And see you guys Monday. Bye-bye. Or have a good day if in your country it isn't night. Have a good one.